Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hey man, y'all drop a 1,000 in the chat if I can be heard. Drop a 1,000 in the chat. All praises to the ever-present Creator. All in all, the maker of suns, moons, and stars. The Creator, the God maker. His magnitude is incomprehensible, and His presence is everywhere. Y'all tap on in with your brother, man. It's your little brother, Malachi Maccabee. Y'all see the who was Simeon Toko, real of a black Messiah. The power of spirit over the flesh. They wouldn't let me add the rest of that in there. Hey, we're gonna talk about it today. A lot of folks ain't never heard of this cat named Simeon Toko. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about it today, and then a lot of the things you're gonna hear, you're gonna be like, get the hell out of here. No, ain't no way in the world that happened. You dig? But we gonna connect it all the way back to the old. Connect it back to the Owaski show. You know, and I always remember Owaski was written in 1881, available for public scrutiny in 1882. Alright? So remember that. This brother right here wasn't born in 1914. His story is very, very interesting. You know what I mean? It's an African brother from the Congo or Angola. You know what I mean? Named Simeon Toko. We're going to talk about it today. You dig? Y'all tap on in. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe button, share button. Get them algorithms spinning. And we're going to find out a little something today. Y'all going to be like, what? Yes, sir. Let's go. How's the volume on that, y'all? If it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn it down a little taste. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm about to share this video anyway. We gonna get into who Simeon Toko was. Big, very, very interesting story. Very, very interesting. I thought, so you know what? Let me come on and talk about this cat for a minute, man. And see what's what. I got a few more prayers I gotta do, and then we gonna get into this video. You know what I mean? And then after the video, we're gonna read a little something about his life, and then we're gonna compare. We're gonna compare and see what's what. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing but your regular over this way, though. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. We love y'all too. I see the gang piling on in. Shout out to my brother Dreadful Cosmo, nigga Thooster in the building. One love, One love. That's the Cali Connect. Shout out to Miss Raphael AM. Shout out to Miss Raphael AM, Love and Light. We got Chief and this key in the building. Key Law Lam Cosdo, my state national system. I'm on the same mission, sis. I'll share a little something with you later. Yeah. Move around this deal. Gotta move around this deal. Shout out to Yafa in the building, my beloved sister. Love, light, and balance. I got my brother John Wayne in the building. What's the word, King? What's the word, brother? Yeah. Key on the American State National. You know, a lot of us make moves in silence, Key. Feel me? I've been peeping. I'm on the same thing. Matter of fact, I just was traveling all last week. We'll link up though. We'll rap about it for sure. Alright, bang. Get up in here, let me share this one last, and then we gonna get it in. You know what I mean? Shout out to the haters, y'all jackers and naysayers. I heard CGG is live, Credit Gang is live. I know I'm shadow banned. Like don't none of my notifications go out, none of that. For the most part. I've been stuck at 13,000 subscribers for the past 5 years. I say, oh no, yeah. You know, good and well. What was it? Let me Bitcoin news. Stuff we talk about is dangerous. And it's of a high light. You see all the gods are falling. Whether you use a street nigga, all the gangsters are snitching. Yeah, I know y'all people out at Rico and all they going down with the rolling 60s, the big U out in LA. Nigga. It ain't just that though. You feel me? Like all the so-called street cats are snitching, working for informants, confidential informants. All your so-called mob bosses and leaders are the same thing. You dig? All your religious devotees are scrambling. You know what I mean? You got Gorilla Shibu and got his cheeks clapped by his broad. It's like, what the hell is really going on around here, man? You dig? You know what it is? The gods have fallen. And you can thank CGG for it. You can thank Creative Game for it. The gods have fallen. You can't show us a spiritual system, we'll show you the deity behind. You know what I mean? Shout out to my sister Belinda Brown, top of the tops. It's all good around here. Shout out to my brother Kendra Britt. Shout out to my Kendra Britt. I've been rapping with that over a decade. Shout out to that man. Oh man, got my brother Dreadful Cosmine. Man, they need to leave me alone. You in the age of P. Diddy and 1,000 bottles of damn baby oil. You know what I mean? You in a time of murder for hire. Look, I'm gonna tell you something like this. I don't know why a Negro would even want to be a rapper today. All these niggas is getting shot. All these niggas is getting killed backdoor. You know what I mean? Y'all, the gods have fallen. What's happening? You know what I mean? So, you know, stay tuned, man. Eyes wide shut. The Creative Gang is in the best position in this earth right now. For nobody says. Best position in the earth is us. You know what I mean? In the end, everybody from your religious devotees to your high-paid influencers down to your street niggas gonna have to come holler. You're gonna have to come holler. You know what I mean? We the ones that's dropping. Real spirit. You know what I mean? So love and light to everybody in the chat. Y'all know how we do. We about to go in and swing back through. I'm back for the side order. Man, I'm back for the side order. I'm gonna share this, y'all. And we gonna go ahead and rap about Simeon Toko. Most of us ain't never heard the dude. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't even know why anybody would want to be a rapper today. All these niggas just getting shot, indicted, snitched on. Nah, player, we cool. You feel me? If you gonna rap, it need to be about light, higher light, inspiring our brothers and sisters to rise above the darkness. All that trying to intimidate people and pulling out your 200 racks to show the camera and all that. All that's dead. It's been dead for real. You know what I mean? Shout out, man. Love, light, and balance. We got the big homie Nehemiah in the building. Said he got some load down the field. 526. Yes, sir. Boy, stop eating them. Stop chewing on them sandwiches about 4 years ago. Everybody thought we was crazy, big homie. Everybody thought we was crazy. Look at that. Nehemiah down 526. He down 223 pounds. 223 pounds. He laid the flesh down 4 years ago. Everybody thought we was crazy. Yeah. That's what's up, me. Salute, brother. Salute. You know what I mean? Yeah, the streets is a myth. Get the hell out the streets. Get your ass up out the streets. All that nigga. You're on the dead homies. No, nigga. On my living homies. What the hell you mean on the dead homies? Oh, y'all sound like a damn broken record out here. Hell, you even trying to prove to these niggas. All of them snitching. All of them backdooring. Niggas from the same exact gang, same set, killing each other. What hell you even talking about? You know what I mean? And then look, y'all. These cats get on these podcasts and they tell on themselves. That boy Loose Cannon got on that podcast and straight admitted that he was extorting rappers coming to LA. Admitted it. I'm like, gosh, nigga, just I remember the first time he did, I said, nigga, just admit that on camera. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. What y'all call in the streets and you know what I mean, street cred and all that's a myth. It don't exist. It's all a lie. On the dead homies. Niggas sound like clowns. Nigga, on my living homies. What you mean? What's wrong with y'all around here, man? Alright, we looking good. Let's go ahead and play this video. There's a lot going on. I mean, from the streets to the conscious community, and all I'm saying is evidence that the gods have fallen. The gods have fallen. Whether you talking about the rap gods or the street gods or you religious devotees, your gods have fallen. And now y'all everybody scrambling. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Let me turn this down. Let's get to it. The background music, a little taste. Let's get into who Simeon Toko was. Very, very interesting story, man. I must say, very, very interesting. All right. They call him nigga Black Jesus. I say, okay. Little Simeon Toko. Let's see what he talking about real quick. We gonna get to it. All right. I close that out. No, we talk about what you're scared to talk about. Let's get into it.
What's going on YouTube? Listen up, young elder gang. This is Dr. Charles P. Winston at You With Another Banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, fam.
There go the brother right there. Right there to the left.
I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes. In this video, you will find history, definitions, scripture, information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning, the truth. Keep in mind, this content used in this video is intended for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. We will give you the total truth as we best understand it today. Be sure to hit that like button, young elder gang. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit that bell and don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. This is Simeon Toko, the Black Jesus and the Illuminati's failed assassination attempts. Deep in the heart of Cameroon, a land steeped in ancient mystery.
Hey, so obviously he was something to deal with. If you got the powers that be trying to assassinate this brother, and he wasn't even militant. He wasn't even a militant brother. You know what I mean? Obviously, this brother was something to deal with. Let's go.
mysticism and vibrant traditions, there's a story that has been passed down through generations. This is a land where the past and present intertwine, where every whisper of the wind carries the echoes of ancient prophecies and timeless tales. There is a very large body of testimony, of which only a little has yet been recorded or written down from eyewitnesses. This is the story of the man who single-handedly gave defeat to the Belgian army. The truth is stranger than fiction. The unbelievable.
Did he say single-handedly? Single-handedly. Y'all look, y'all drop a 1,000 in the chat if y'all never heard of Simeon Toko. Drop a 2,000 in the chat if you have. 1,000 if you've never heard of this brother. 2,000 if you have heard of him. Simeon Toko. They dub this man the Black Jesus. Huh? And look, his story is about to sound crazy as all hell. All right? Until we crack that old Waspy open. That one be like, whoa. And remind you, this brother was born, what, maybe 40 years after, around 40 years after Owaspy was written. So, was written in Owaspy. You understand? About the power of spirit over the flesh was already written down and inked and distributed for 40 years before he was even born. Now, notice, most of y'all that commented never heard of this brother. Never heard of him. I got 2,000 from William Jones. William Jones heard of Simeon Toko before. You understand? Most people breathing out have never heard this brother. All right? Let's keep watching. Y'all gonna be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch this.
Unbelievable spiritual power of one man that overcame the Belgian army. Is this a real-life African avatar? It all began because Leopold...
Real-life African avatar. Real-life African avatar.
The second wanted his country to join the League of European Empires, but the Belgian state refused to finance its part in Western Europe's expensive scramble for Africa. So, they outsourced the task to Leopold the P, who used personal diplomacy to convince the European powers to grant him control of a large portion of the Congo basin. Leopold the P promised to bring civilization to the so-called Dark Continent, as if Africans in the Congo were uncivilized, christened the Congo Free State. In 1885, Leopold's playground was an astonishing 17 times the size of Belgium, comprised largely of unmapped jungle. It was initially a huge financial burden.
Man, it say that place was 17 times the size of Belgium. King Leopold II. If y'all know anything about dude was Hitler before Hitler. Yeah, I heard a lot of people talk about Adolf Hitler and how crazy he was and all that. Why ain't nobody ever talking about this murderous bastard King Leopold II or whatever the hell he was? Why ain't nobody talking about him? This cat was look straight up murderer. Killed more people than attributed to Adolf Hitler. Nobody brings him up, right? Watch this. Watch this. For anybody that's coming in, we talking about this brother named Simeon Toko. All right? Again, drop a 1,000 in the chat if you never heard of this brother. Drop a 2,000 in the chat if you have. All right? Watch this. Watch this.
Burden, but when worldwide demand for rubber boomed, Leopold the P cashed in. Leopold the P became the new rubber band man.
Not the new rubber band man. Yeah, so for y'all that don't know, the Congo is rich in what you call rubber. You know what I mean? Your tires, your all that. You know what I mean? Rubber is used for a lot. Huh? So the Congo come through. I mean, King Leopold, Belgium come through. He colonized the whole Congo, and he enslaves the natives of the Congo. You understand? And forced them into slave labor. Huh? Cutting arms off and all that. In this hostile environment, the brother Simeon Toko was born. You know what I mean? Tap in, watch this. Watch this. Shout out to my brother Daryl Cosmon in the building. I'm surprised you ain't never heard of dude.
Congolese workers were sent out into their jungle to slash down vines and layer their bodies with rubber latex. Later, they would scrape it.
Rubber latex, where you get your condoms from. Rubber.
It off their skin, often taking flesh and hair with it. Their work was labor-intensive and injurious to health. The only economical way to collect it was via the forced mobilization of Congolese society. The Congo Free State evolved from a vanity possession into a slave plantation. According to History Today, Leopold's Hell operated by an insane logic. Villages were set quotas of rubber, and the philatelist was sent in to collect it. A process that was sped up by looting, arson, and rape of local villages. If a village failed to reach its quota, hostages would be taken and shot to ensure that they didn't waste time jacking around and they were getting Leopold's rubber. Leopold's pimp hand was strong. They would take their women and daughters for collateral. They were required to produce. Leopold hired local thugs to keep his game going. They were paid pennies by Leopold for their hard work. They made their children work all day and night. Those police that couldn't reach their quotas on beating, looting, and raping people were fired. Leopold wanted his fear machine to keep going. He could have no one interrupting his pimp game of his rubber. It was during this time, 33 years after the atrocities started in the Congo. Among these whispers, there was one prophecy that stood out, a prophecy whispered on the wind. It foretold the coming of a child unlike any other, who would be a beacon of light destined to illuminate the world. This child, born under a sky ablaze with stars, would carry within him the hopes and dreams of an entire people, to free them from the pimp hand of Leopold. The night of his birth was marked by celestial phenomena, with shooting stars streaking across the heavens as if the universe itself was celebrating his arrival. This child, named Simeon Toko, would bear the weight of a divine purpose, born on February 24th, 1918, in a village in North Angola, Africa. They called him the Black Jesus, a man who defied death, predicted the future, and even performed wonders. His name would be spoken with reverence and awe, and his life would be a testament to the awesome power of faith and the enduring strength of the human spirit. From the very beginning, Simeon's life was intertwined with the spiritual fabric of his community. Born in a humble village, his arrival was seen as a divine blessing, a sign that the ancient prophecies were coming to fruition. The village, nestled in the heart of Cameroon, was a place where traditions ran deep, and every child was raised with a sense of belonging and purpose. But even among his peers, Simeon stood out. His birth was heralded by unusual signs. Shamans spoke of dreams filled with celestial beings, of visions that foretold his coming. They saw a radiant dove descending from the heavens, a symbol of peace and divine favor. The air, they said, crackled with unseen energy, a palpable aura of destiny clinging to the newborn child. It was as if the very elements of nature were acknowledging his arrival, marking him as someone special, someone destined for greatness. Even as a boy, Simeon possessed an uncanny awareness, a deep connection to the spiritual realm that set him apart. He would often wander alone in the vast savannah, his gaze lost in the distance as if communing with unseen forces. These solitary walks were more than just a child's exploration. They were moments of profound reflection and spiritual communion. Simeon seemed to draw strength and wisdom from the land itself, from the vast skies and the whispering winds. His connection to the spiritual realm was evident to all who knew him. The village elders, wise in the ways of the spirit, recognized in him a spark of something extraordinary. They saw the fulfillment of ancient prophecies, the coming of a spiritual leader who would guide his people to enlightenment. The elders, with their deep understanding of the spiritual and the mystical, saw in Simeon the potential for greatness. They knew that his destiny was not just to lead his village, but to inspire and guide people far beyond the borders of his homeland. The Saphon of Psalm 48:3, portentously named Sadi Banza Zulu Mongo.
All right, we're going to jump up, son.
Word of Simeon Toko's powerful sermons and the miracles he performed spread like wildfire. His name became synonymous with hope and divine intervention. The sick and the suffering journeyed from distant villages, drawn by hope and desperation. They came on foot, by cart. The organization, with its tendrils reaching into the highest echelons of power, saw in Simeon Toko a threat to their age-old control.
Uh-oh, you heard
They
it?
recognized this church would not just be a place of divinity that surrounded him. His presence was magnetic, change even before he spoke a word. Gone was the quiet seeker, replaced by a fiery preacher with eyes that burned with conviction. His voice, once soft and contemplative, now carried the weight of divine authority, each word resonating with power and passion. He spoke with an authority that transcended his years, his words carrying the weight of divine inspiration. His sermons were not just speeches, but powerful orations that stirred the hearts and souls of all who listened. People flocked to hear him, drawn to the raw power of his message and the undeniable aura of divinity that surrounded him. His presence was magnetic, his words a balm for the weary and the lost. Simeon Toko's divine calling was clear. He was to be more than just a preacher. He was to be a beacon of hope, a symbol of divine intervention in a world desperately in need of guidance. He was to be a beacon of hope, a voice for the voiceless, a champion for the downtrodden. His mission was not just to preach, but to actively work towards the betterment of his people, to be a living example of the divine love and compassion he spoke of. He would establish the Tokoist Church, a sanctuary for those seeking solace and spiritual enlightenment. This church would not just be a place of worship, but a community, a family bound together by faith and a shared vision of a better world. And in doing so, he would unwittingly step onto a path fraught with danger, for his growing influence and message of empowerment would attract the attention of powerful forces determined to silence him. His journey would be one of trials and tribulations, each challenge a test of his faith and resolve. The Illuminati, a shadowy organization with its tendrils reaching into the highest echelons of power, saw in Simeon Toko a threat to their age-old control. They recognized the power of his message, the potential it had to awaken the masses and disrupt their carefully constructed order. A threat they were determined to eliminate. But Simeon, armed with his divine calling and unwavering faith, was prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. His journey was just beginning, and the world would soon witness the rise of a true spiritual leader. It was rumored that not long after Simeon was born, a British missionary, a Christian worker, had a vivid dream that a great king had been born nearby. The missionary decided that he needed to find this special child. When the Christian worker had seen baby Simeon, he knew that Simeon was the king that he had dreamt of. When Simeon grew up, he became a member of a church where he started a famous choir of hundreds of people. The missionaries in the church could see that Simeon was not an ordinary man, and they believed that he had magical powers. Some say that the missionaries were frightened of Simeon's powers, and some say they were jealous, but for whatever the reason, Simeon was banned from the church. Simeon loved Anu so much that he started his own church. Word of Simeon Toko's powerful sermons and the miracles he performed spread like wildfire. His name became synonymous with hope and divine intervention. The sick and the suffering journeyed from distant villages, drawn by hope and desperation. They came on foot, by cart, and any means available, driven by stories of miraculous healings. The lame walked, the blind saw, and the terminally ill found themselves inexplicably cured by his touch. Each miracle seemed more astonishing than the last, leaving witnesses in awe. Yaoundé, Cameroon's capital, became a crucible of faith, where the impossible seemed to unfold daily. The city buzzed with stories of Toko's divine interventions, drawing even more people to witness his power. The sick, their bodies ravaged by disease, would line the streets leading to Toko's makeshift church. They waited patiently, some for hours, others for days, hoping for a chance to be touched by his healing hands. Each touch, each prayer seemed to carry a tangible energy, a surge of divine power that left onlookers awestruck. The atmosphere was electric, charged with the collective faith and hope of the masses. Stories circulated of the dead.
So the very thing we read about in the Bible that Jesus was doing, the very same thing we read in the Bible that Yahshua Mashiach, Yahushua, You know what I mean? This cat lived during the 20th century in Africa. You dig? And was feared by the colonial powers, feared by the Illuminati, CIA, FBI. Wait till y'all hear how they tried to kill this cat. Wait till y'all heard what they did several times to kill him, and he would not die. Man, it's just crazy.
Being raised, their lifeless eyes snapping open at Toko's command. These tales, though hard to believe, were recounted by numerous witnesses, adding to the mystique surrounding him. Skeptics scoffed, but the sheer volume of eyewitness accounts and the palpable transformation in those touched by Toko was impossible to ignore. Even the most hardened doubters found themselves questioning their disbelief. One particularly remarkable account involved a young boy named Essingen. His story would become one of the most talked about miracles attributed to Toko. Struck by a mysterious illness that baffled doctors, Essingen lay on his deathbed, his tiny body ravaged by fever and pain. Medical professionals were at a loss, unable to diagnose or treat his condition. His distraught parents, having exhausted all other options, brought him to Toko as a last resort. They had heard of his miraculous healings and clung to the hope that he could save their son. The scene was one of both desperation and unwavering faith. The crowd watched intently, their hearts heavy with empathy and hope for the young boy. As Toko laid his hand upon Essingen's forehead, a hush fell over the crowd. The air was thick with anticipation, every eye fixed on the healer and the child. The air crackled with energy, and a wave of emotion swept through the onlookers. It was as if the very atmosphere was charged with the power of the divine. Moments later, colour returned to Essingen's face. The tremors ceased and his eyes fluttered open. The transformation was immediate and undeniable. The crowd erupted, their cheers a testament to the miracle they had just witnessed. Tears of joy and relief flowed freely as people embraced and celebrated the boy's recovery. Essingen, once on death's door, was completely healed. His parents wept with gratitude, and the story of his miraculous recovery spread, further cementing Toko's reputation as a man of extraordinary power and faith. Simeon Toko from Angola wasn't your average pastor porkchop. It is believed Simeon Toko was the first of the 144,000 described in the Bible. As Simeon Toko's reputation grew, his name made it back to the top of the pyramid, you know. And after about an hour's distance, pushed Simeon Toko out of the plane into the deep sea, sending him plummeting towards the earth to save his life. This event sparked rumors of Simeon Toko's special connection to a higher. When the Belgian soldiers had been defeated by the Belgian colonial army, the villagers saved themselves. Many reported
Think it's the game? What you think we playing?
10 years later, to everyone's surprise, Belgium did just that. In 1949, Simeon Toko asked in his public prayer that the Holy Spirit manifest in Africa to put an end to the abuses of the colonial power. Toko became a dedicated member of the Baptist Church of Antigua. On October 1949, Simeon Toko held up both hands, spread out his fingers, and told the Abus of Belgium to count them. He said, "I give 10 years to the Belgian, not one more or less to leave this country." 10 years later, to everyone's surprise, Belgium did just that. In 1960, the Belgians were obliged to leave their rich colony of Congo. This incident was confirmed in Angola, 1994, by Pastor Andelo Kandi, who was a cook at the Conda agriculture compound where it happened on January 4th, 1959. While Simeon was living in Congo, the Belgian army tried to invade the country. The Belgians had planned to kill Simeon and all of his people and keep the land for themselves.
Y'all heard that?
Many reported, witnesses attest.
Y'all heard that? The Belgian army tried to kill him and everybody there to keep the land for themselves because the resources was buried in the land is what has the colonial powers passing out generational wealth to this day. And it was right up under the feet of these African brothers and sisters. The rubber. Now look at them. Now they want to get him. Remind you, this brother is not a violent brother. This brother is not violent. This brother ain't no revolutionary. This brother ain't none of that. He ain't taking up arms. He ain't doing none of that. He ain't bombing government buildings. And you see the powers that be want to kill this cat. They want to kill this man. You dig? Watch this. Watch this.
Hundreds of the people of Congo said they saw Simeon close his eyes and begin to pray. He had asked for Anu to send him protection, and Anu had answered his prayer. They said that suddenly a huge army of more than 1,000 huge cherubim angels emerged out of thin air and stood behind Simeon. They had very muscular bodies and they were human-looking beings, but with supernatural powers to demonstrate.
Heard it? They are the human-looking beings. Supernatural powers appeared behind this brother. Why? Because angels or ancestors or spirits are one-time living, breathing men and women. There ain't no big mystery to that. That's not a mystery. You feel me? It's only you still caught up in your religious jargon and your religious stupor and high. That's all it is. But if you just slow down, damn, okay, angels do look like men, women. That's because they're one-time living men and women. Watch this.
They were the Anunnaki military.
He called them the Anunnaki military.
Held off the Belgian colonial army. The villagers said that they saw angels fight off the soldiers with ease, an extraordinary force, for example. Some people said they seen a humanoid angel lift an extremely heavy 5-ton truck with one hand and throw it at a Belgian soldier.
Dang.
The Belgian soldiers opened fire on these angels, but to no effect. The colonial army was in a panic and disorder. This was on 4th of January, according to the African natives. That day, Simeon Toko had unleashed his army, which they made into a day of celebration. When the Belgian soldiers had been defeated, the angels disappeared and Simeon was left standing unscathed. This is just one story of how the mystical Simeon Toko called upon divine forces to protect his people and save his life. This event sparked rumors of Simeon Toko's special connection to a higher power. Trouble followed his growing fame. Those who felt threatened by his influence tried to silence him. In a shocking incident, a powerful machine used for planting seeds supposedly chopped up Simeon Toko.
Hold on now. They done threw this man in a meat grinder or one of them machines that grind up seeds. Pay attention. Feel me? Not only did the Belgian army try to assassinate this man with a 21-gun salute to no avail, y'all, they tried to grind this brother up in the same machine they grind up seeds in. Did he die? What happened? Good night. Watch this.
Everyone believed he was dead, but then, in an unbelievable turn of events, he reportedly came back to life. News of the miraculous resurrection spread like wildfire. However, his enemies weren't finished. Fearing his growing influence, they devised a plan to eliminate him.
Hey, hold on, man. So you throw the man in basically a meat grinder, a seed grinder. I mean, what's up with his body? His body got to be told limb from limb. The man don't die. He's not dismembered. He get back up and keep doing his thing. He get back up and keep doing his thing. Like, so again, we talking about the power of spirit over flesh. The power of spirit over flesh. Right? We read about it all the time in these spiritual books we read. Okay, dang. You feel me? But it's a brother that was living not even 100 years ago. Not even 100 years ago. You dig? That was out there pressing play on these spiritual matters. No games. No games. Watch this.
The Pope even sent his own guys.
The Pope of the dope of Rome himself had to send people to come holler at him. Watch this.
For instance, the plot was to drown him at sea.
Okay, so the Belgian army 21-gun salute didn't work. The meat grinder didn't work. So now they finna try to throw this man off into the ocean some damn way. Watch this.
In the plane with Simeon Toko sat a Catholic priest and members of Salazar's secret police, including the pilot and co-pilot. Their mission was to fly over the Atlantic Ocean, and after about hours' distance, push Simeon Toko out of the plane into the deep sea, sending him plummeting towards the earth. But according to some accounts, something extraordinary happened. the moment the agents rose to subdue him and carry out their plan. Simeon Toko stood up and ordered the airplane to stop in mid-flight. The aircraft inexplicably stopped in mid-air. It just stood still, not advancing an inch, nor was it moving forward or backwards. Their plan to get rid of Simeon Toko changed. They were in fear. The crew...
Hold on. So they wasn't in no helicopter, just hovering. You understand? They in a plane. And he can get up and order the plane to stop mid-flight. Not land, none of that. He got up and commanded the plane to stop and just hover. This is crazy. Not fly around. You know what I mean? Stop. Hold on.
Who was stricken by panic. The priest could hardly breathe and began desperately praying to Simeon. Then Simeon lifted his eyes and hands toward the heaven and with a powerful voice reportedly ordered the plane to resume its journey, leaving the crew in a state of shock. When Simeon Toko was sent to slavery in an agricultural field in Kaka in southern Angola, his head was offered for a price. Two Portuguese foremen, excited by the reward, decided to take their chance.
So it's still a price on his head. The Belgian army couldn't kill him with a 21-gun salute. Right? The meat grinder couldn't kill him. They couldn't throw him over into the ocean no damn where. Right? They got a price on this man's head. And there's some cats in Portugal that's willing to, man, watch this.
They put a plan into action to murder Simeon Toko. During a stay in Angola in 1994, we collected the testimony of Pastor Adelino Kandi, who was a cook at the Kaka agriculture compound. He saw what happened, busy with cooking. He heard a voice calling him, "Kandi, Kandi, come here." It was Simeon Toko. Once outside, surprised and curious, Toko told him to stand there and be watchful. Once again, the Son of Man will be tested, he said to him. Strange words in particular for Kandi, who was not then a Christian and didn't understand the term of what Simeon too wanted of him. Curious, he watched one of the Portuguese foremen show up and call Simeon Toko. He said to Simeon, "You see that tractor over there? There are weeds clogging the sewer. Go clean them out." Submissively, Simeon Toko crawled under the engine to fix it. When he was...
So he ends up, after all this, he's still oppressed by the colonial powers. Even though he got spiritual powers, he's still oppressed. It's like who we call Yahshua. Yahweh had spiritual powers, but he was still oppressed by the Romans. Right? Now, look what they about to do. He about to crawl up under this damn tractor right here. Talking about there's some weeds clogging it up. Watch this.
Was under the tractor, the foreman sitting in the driver's seat started it up, which automatically activated the rotating blades of the sewer. Simeon's body was instantly severed in several pieces. Terrified, Kandi stood frozen to the spot, watching the foreman shift into reverse to back up and check the damage. Another foreman, who was in the service tower that day, flashed a victory sign indicating that they had succeeded. Then the unbelievable...
Look at it, all for some money, man. Like you killed another poor brother who's oppressed just like you, all for some money. Right now, at this moment, this man's body is dismembered. His body's dismembered at this moment. All right? Did this man die after this? Watch this.
Happened. Before Kandi and the two Portuguese accomplices, the body of Simeon Toko recomposed itself. Simeon Toko stood up. Kandi could not believe his eyes. He scared the hell out of the two Portuguese foremen. The Portuguese ran away in terror fast as they could.
They was over there low running, boy. Blew all they draws out. Them boys blew all they draws out. Huh? Who was Simeon Toko? Why ain't nobody really never heard of them? Who was Simeon Toko, the fear of a black Messiah? And the rest of the title is "And the Power of Spirit over the Flesh." Over the flesh. All right. Simeon Toko was born in 1916, y'all. 1916. Nigga, watch this. Hold on. So this man's body started regenerating after it was dismembered. Really?
From that day on, Candy believed in Simeon, and his entire family converted to the Church of Simeon Toko.
I bet it did. He didn't call the little cook outside and say, man, you about to witness something. You know what I mean? Just watch. And then these cats tell him to go unclog this tractor trailer that got weeds in it. He crawl up under there. This murderous bastard starts the tractor. It dismembers this man's body. They giving victory signs like it's all good. The cat that witnessed it is terrified. And then this man's body regenerates. It regenerates. The cats that was plotting on him because it was a price on his head started low running. They started low running, y'all. Blew all they draws out. Hey, man, I'm telling you, like, when you tapped in, when it come down to high level spirituality, when you tapped in, hey, these brothers is hard to kill, man. These brothers is hard to kill. You dig? When you got knowledge of the spirit world, the inward mechanics of it, the system in order, how it work, you get the knowledge of spirit over the flesh for real, man. Look, Yeshua said it. The things that I do, you gonna do, and even greater. He said that. Don't be mad at me. Now look what you saying. We supposed to be, man. Look, follow the teachings of the Messiah, the Mashiach. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm saying he said the things that he do, we gonna do, and even greater, and we witnessing the cat do it. It ain't like it's just some little folklore. You understand? It's witnesses that saying, yeah. Nigga, I was there when that happened. Watch this.
It was also that day that Simeon Toko made it known who he was behind that small, pockmarred face, purposefully behaving in accord with the all. That's not it. Another account of Simeon Toko being drugged and kidnapped by local assassins called the Imbangala, a warrior group in Angola. The Imbangala were known for their brutality and were sometimes called the Jaga, a generic term for mercenary soldiers. They ate enemies they killed, and their own fighters if they lacked courage. Boys had to prove their worth by killing an enemy to be accepted.
So now they put some cannibals on them. They can't drown this brother. The Belgian army couldn't murder him. They couldn't, look, the meat grinder or the seed grinder, they put him in that, no effect. They tried to throw him, they tried to drown him at sea, no effect. They just tried to dismember and kill this man while he was under a tractor, and he still regenerated. So now they didn't hire some cannibals. Some cannibals. To turn this man into soup. Do y'all hear me? Toko soup. They about to liquefy this brother. Watch this.
Accepted into the group. They held ritual human sacrifices before big battles and other major undertakings. The Imbangala were recruited by capturing young boys and were said to kill all children born in their camps. They roamed along the Atlantic coast, pillaging towns and plundering the countryside for captives to sell to Portuguese slavers. The Portuguese colony of Angola employed the Imbangala as mercenaries. Imbangala eat people, they are cannibals. A cannibal is a person who eats human flesh or organs. Cannibalism is the act of consuming another individual of the same species as food. Cannibalism is a common ecological interaction in the animal kingdom and has been recorded in more than 1,500 species. Human cannibalism is also well documented both in ancient and in recent times. Story goes, the Portuguese hired the Imbangala tribe to kill Simeon Toko. They did as paid. They said they drugged Toko and took him to their village. They chopped him up and boiled him and made a soup. Everyone in the tribe enjoyed him. They drank his blood and they said he was tasty. They said about 3 days later, Simeon Toko was alive and well, back preaching in the town. They were in shock and confused if they really kidnapped the right.
Hold on, man. They had chopped this man up and boiled him. Drank his blood. And 3 days later, he walking around like unscathed. Ain't nothing happened to me. Now, again, y'all, a lot of this sounds crazy as all hell. I understand. You understand? But what I'm saying is you already read some things like this in the Bible. Right? You already read things like this in the Bible already. But check this out. We're going to take you into some deep waters today and show you when this Owaspy was written about them hard to kill faithless prophets, boy. Huh? And this was written down before 40 years before Simeon Toko was even born. Huh? That's crazy, man. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let's keep this going. All right, hold on 1 second. I gotta take that call. Ooh, I needed that call right there. Where happened to yell at in here? Boy, that call just came through, big dog. I needed that call right there. But look, let's keep watching this, man. Let me show y'all. And I know a lot of this stuff sounds crazy, but listen to me, y'all. Listen to me. Whoa, when you see what's written down before he was even born about what was going on 9,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, you're going to be like, man, that's crazy. You feel me? So we got a living testimony in the 20th century, right? Some of y'all grandparents was born during the time this cat was born. You know what I mean? Some of your grandparents was born. Some of your grandparents are contemporaries with Simeon Toko. That's major right there, man. That's major to have a modern example or testimony to what we about to read. All right, the power of spirit over the flesh. Why do you think angels appear as men? How are they able to materialize and look like a man right there? With a head, with some legs, with some feet, arms, knuckles. How is this possible? You see? How is it possible to regenerate like that? Watch this. Watch this.
Right guy. Some of the tribe came down sick after the consuming of his flesh and blood.
You think? Over there chewing on flesh and drinking blood. I bet y'all did come down sick. Watch this.
It was like the Last Supper of Jesus story, right? In the Bible, John 6:53 says, "Very truly I tell you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you." Even the medical field couldn't contain Simon Toko in another attempt to unravel the secret of his resilience. They wanted to cut him up and figure out how he worked. The Illuminati send their best extraterrestrial doctors. They wanted to find out what is his secret, which seemed to protect the mysterious African man.
You know, they just so casually talk about chopping up folks. Like, come on with all this, man. Come on with all this. We got to stop. Just okay, well, let's chop them up now. Damn, y'all done tried to 21 gun salute this brother, throw him in a meat grinder, throw him into the ocean. You know what I mean? Y'all done tried to run him over with a damn tractor, dismembered him. He done regenerated. You done hired mercenaries to chop this man up and eat him and drink his blood, and he just won't die. He just won't die. Everybody shook a dude. Illuminati, the Belgian forces, the Portugal government, everybody shook a dude. And he ain't killed nobody.
They meant to perform an unauthorized autopsy on a living human being under the pretext of removing a tumor in his chest. The doctors had Simeon Toko taken to a hospital. They put him on an operating table, cut a jagged mortal wound in the left side of the center of his chest, reached into his chest cavity and pulled out his still beating heart. The heart and other arteries were severed by scalpel and his heart was removed. Simeon lay dead, his body covered with warm blood that splashed out of his heart and chest. When the media announced the death of Simeon Toko, there was real bad thunder, heavy rainstorms, and the skies turned black. It had not rained in this area for several years. Meteorologists were mystified for 3 days. The rain fell continuously. The occurrence of this event was attributed to all the rumors surrounding the death of this great prophet. Even in the face of death, Simeon Toko stirred back to life. Simeon Toko came to on the operating table. To their horror and bewilderment, his heartless corpse was moving on its own volition. He opened his eyes, sat up and looked at them, the chest wound by which they had casually murdered him gaping open.
Hey, and then there's a picture. Matter of fact, it's on the thumbnail. It's on the thumbnail of the video. There's a picture of him showing the actual where they cut him open at. He lifted up his shirt and showed it. Like, this is where they cut me open at. This man, heartless corpse, y'all, you dig, is alive. I know it sounds crazy, but look, watch this.
"Why are you persecuting me this way?" he said to them. "Give me my heart back." He demanded his heart back. In fear of what he was, the doctors put his heart back in his body and retired from the field.
There it is right there. That's the same picture. That's him showing the wound.
This is a picture of Simeon Toko, showing the big scar where he was operated on by his killers who took out his heart. According to some, he miraculously continued living. The attempts on his life didn't stop. There are tales of one time they managed to get him on a boat in the middle of the ocean, which they sunk. The next day, they seen Simeon Toko walking on land. The world elites were in a desperate effort to...
Man, they try to sink us so that they try to cut the man heart out. He don't die. They try to sink him at sea like the Titanic, and days later, he walking on land.
Get rid of him, but no matter what they did to him, Simeon Toko reportedly returned to life, defying death once more. They sent their best hitman, who recalled shooting him in the head and heart with special bullets. He said he was hired to kill him and paid a lot of money. He said he personally killed Simeon Toko. This man was a real professional hired killer and saw him alive again a few days later. Others stood still living at the time of this event said they saw Toko physically slaughtered and watch him bring himself back to life before their astonished eyes. He would just regenerate and the flesh would grow back, and the next day he was fine. The Illuminati were really in fear now that they sent their best hitman and the guy is still alive. The dictator Antonio Salazar's was in fear of Toko's power. He said he still can't believe it. Simeon Toko is not dead. They wanted him dead. Who is this guy? MJ-12 and the dark government wanted to dissect him. They knew Simeon was some type of supernatural being. Simeon was an extraterrestrial light being from the planet Nibiru. Simeon Toko is an Anunnaki who came down into an avatar. Simeon...
The British dude saying it was an Anunnaki. You dig? But if y'all ever look up Henrietta Latch, a sister, you dig, whose cells they use to this day, you know what I mean, to produce all types of medicine and do all types of research. And this woman's dead. Her dead cells give life. Henrietta Latch, look her up. A straight sister. Huh? Somebody else during our lifetime that could have been contemporary with one of our grandparents. Yeah. High level spirituality when that Archpsychocosmon started, man. It's a lot of things that happen that's unexplained. The Archpsychocosmon started in 1848. You feel me? not even 100 years in, you got Simeon Toko displaying all types of, you know what I mean, death-defying type things, man. This stuff is amazing. Watch this.
Was set up again by the Black Hand, world bankers and their minions, who finally said, okay, we're going to bring you to the United Nations and let you share your message with the world. Let's get you on this flight. They bring him on this flight, and instead of bringing him to the United Nations, these devils shot him repeatedly, and then actually had some kind of meat grinder device, and basically like a bandsaw. The elite devils sort up his body into a whole bunch of pieces, put him in these very radioactive shielded containers, and then had all these fighter jets dock with the plane and fly his body parts to all corners of the world, where then these containers were burned and turned into ash. They thought that maybe this would defeat him, like that his body somehow, the tissue was necessary. So if they destroyed all the tissue in all these places across the world, maybe they could defeat him.
Do y'all hear what the lengths they was willing to go to kill this man? They're like, we about to bring you to the United Nations, right? But they had other plans. They shot him repeatedly and then chopped him up with a damn bandsaw. If you ever been in any type of butchery, a slaughterhouse, you already know the little bandsaw, the little thing that go up and down, and you take your meat and eat. They done chopped this man up in pieces, his tissue, his skin, everything. You dig? Put his body parts in separate radioactive containers, flew his body parts to different parts of the world, burned the containers to ashes. Did this man die? Man, look at this, man. I'm like, bro, y'all gotta leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone.
Well, he then regenerated in their offices and was fully fine, fully intact.
And guess what? He regenerates. It's fully intact, fully fine.
But the sad part is that he said, you know, you guys so badly do not want me to be here that I am now going to leave shortly. I will give you what you want. But hear me and hear me good. In the future, many others like me will be coming, and when they do, you will not be able to stop them. They are...
Ooh-wee, sound like what old Waspy say, boy. It's thousands of Yeshuas coming. Millions. It's millions of anointed about to show face. Millions. And this was just one brother, man. Simeon Toko. Y'all look him up. You know what I mean? Very interesting story.
Are coming. The story takes a final twist. One day, Simeon Toko simply vanished. There's no record of his death, only whispers that he left with a promise. A promise that many more like him will come, and they will be unstoppable.
Ooh.
What's going on YouTube?
Oh, wait. If y'all like that story, if y'all learning something a little taste so far, y'all drop a 3,000 in the chat. Let's look up a little bit more on Simeon Toko. A little bit more on the young God. Dang. Nigga, that's deep. That's deep. Yes, we even talking about. What are you talking about, Malachi? Okay, hold on. Let's share this right here. And then we're gonna get into that. Oh, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what you just listened to. We're gonna show you. That's right, William. That's what the government is preparing for. He say, look, if I'm a problem, hey, it's about to be countless. It's about to be countless of brothers and sisters out here on this same type of time. You can't stop it. Who can stop the march of the Creator? Nobody, baby. And my keep sweat. Nobody stopping that. You know what I mean? That brother was on point. He wasn't even no militant brother. He ain't shot nobody. He ain't organized no band of misfits to take down the government. He simply stayed in the spirit. You dig? And wasn't playing no games with nobody. You know what I mean? Wasn't playing no games with nobody. Now watch it. Let's read a little bit about it. Let's read a little bit about the brother Simeon Toko. You know what I mean? And then we're going to get into this Owaspy, the book everybody's scared of. and show you the same thing. You dig? Israelite for life, baby. Now watch this. Matter of fact, The Icon, the Pioneer, the Legend by Michael Benjamin. This was written actually November 23rd last year, 2024. 2024. The Mystery of Simeon Toko, the miracle worker of Africa. Simeon Toko, or Simao Toko as he is also known, remains an enigmatic figurehead or figure shrouded in mystery and awe. This Congolese religious leader, born on February 24th, 1918, my bad, not 1916, 1918. Y'all, that means Malcolm X was just 7 years younger than him. That means Martin Luther King was just, what, 11 years younger than him. Look at that. So they were contemporaries with dude. They knew about dude. Look at this. Born on February 24th, 1918 in what was then the Belgian Congo, modern day what? Angola. Has inspired countless stories of miracles, survival against all odds, and divine purpose. Revered as both a prophet and a man of extraordinary abilities, Toko's life continues to spark interest and debate among historians, theologians, and believers. The early life and spiritual awakening. Simeon Toko was born into a humble Christian family in the village of Sadi Banza. His early years were marked by a strong inclination towards spiritual matters. From a young age, he displayed a remarkable commitment to religious teachings and an unshakable faith. While his upbringing laid the foundation for his later work, it was the revelations he reportedly received during adulthood that set him apart. In 1949, Toko claimed to have experienced divine visions and messages indicating that he was chosen for a higher mission. He began to preach and gather followers, proclaiming that he was sent by God to restore and spread a message of peace, justice, and unity. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with peace, justice, and unity? Nothing. All right. His teachings resonated with many, especially during a time when the region was rife with colonial strife and social upheaval. The rise of his ministry. Watch this. As Toko's ministry grew, so did the tales of miraculous events surrounding him. He founded the Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ in the world, which quickly amassed a significant following, particularly in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The church emphasized a return to spiritual purity and resistance against the oppression faced by African people. Okay. Reports from his followers tell of numerous acts that defied explanation, including supernatural healing, the multiplication of food, and protection from fatal incidents. One of the most famous stories recounts how he survived several assassination attempts, seemingly unharmed. His followers saw these incidents as signs of his divine anointment. As in modern day, they go into his church still around. The miraculous incidents, legends, or reality. One of the most debated aspects of Toko's life is the story of his miraculous survival after government-led attempts to kill him. In the 1960s, as Angola's fight for independence gained momentum, Toko's growing influence drew the attention of Portuguese colonial authorities, who viewed him as a what? A political threat. A political threat. Look at this. Disguised as a spiritual leader. According to various accounts, Toko was arrested, tortured, and subjected to brutal attempts to end his life. However, he is said to have emerged unharmed every time. One particularly striking tale tells of how even after his heart was reportedly removed by his captors, he miraculously survived, causing widespread wonder and belief among his followers. Good night. We just read about that, didn't we? Of course, you got skeptics, for sure. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that those stories were likely exaggerated or symbolic, designed to reinforce the image of Toko as a divine protected leader. The lack of verifiable historical evidence has only deepened the mystery surrounding these accounts, making it difficult to discern fact from myth. Watch this. Toko and the stigma of messiahship. Simeon Toko's followers regarded him as a messianic figure, sometimes drawing comparisons to Jesus Christ due to the miraculous stories associated with his life. This claim has sparked intense debate within the religious community and among scholars. Some view it as an expression of African spiritual identity and resistance, where religious belief merges with cultural and political aspirations. Others, however, have criticized this messianic attribution, pointing out that such titles can contribute to misunderstandings and potential conflicts between different religious sects. While mainstream devotees often refrain from acknowledging such figures beyond traditional biblical teachings, Toko's life presents a complex interplay of spirituality, colonial history, and African mysticism. This right here say he died in the 80s. Now they say he vanished, but look, Simeon Toko passed away on April 25th, 1984, but his legacy lives on through his church and the stories that continue to circulate about his extraordinary life. His followers believe that he was more than just a man. He was a beacon of hope and a symbol of divine protection in the face of persecution. Today, his church maintains a significant presence, particularly among those who still revere Toko as a prophet or a reincarnated savior. Okay. This is him right here. Simeon Toko. Look at him. Okay. There we go right here. And then we're going to get into this. And show y'all. Whether Simeon Toko's miraculous deeds were real, embellished, or a mixture of both, there is no denying his impact on the spiritual and cultural landscape of Central Africa. His story captures the imagination and challenges conventional narratives about divinity and leadership, bridging the gap between faith and folklore. Dang. Conclusion: myth or divine manifestation? The question of who Simeon Toko truly was, prophet, miracle worker, or charismatic leader, remains a topic of fascination. For his followers, he was an incarnation of divine will sent to uplift and protect. For historians and theologians, he represents a complex figure whose life serves as an intersection between religion, resistance, and myth. What remains clear is that the legacy of Simeon Toko embodies the power of belief in transcending boundaries, whether they be physical, spiritual, or political. The story is not just one of miracles, but of unwavering faith in the mysterious nature of human conviction and the extraordinary. In conclusion, John 14:12 stands as a powerful promise from Jesus to his followers. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. These words are not meant to inspire doubt or hesitation, but to stir faith and expectation. Jesus has already paved the way, empowering us through his spirit to carry forward this mission. I didn't go on to talk about what else Simeon Toko done did, right? But I want to get into this right here. Let's get into this right here. Bang, bang. Which one is this? Bang. Yeah. We ain't finna play no games with nobody. All right. Now this right here is OASP. Read a little bit about what that is real quick. For y'all that don't know. All right. There's something on the cover page. Some of y'all may have not heard of OASP or whatever, right? But this was written down before Simeon Toko was born. Remember that. Before Simeon Toko was born, this spiritual guidebook was already written down. He was born in 1918. This was written in 1881. So 91, 01, 11. We don't get to 21. That's 40. Take off 3. It's 37 years. Simeon Toko was born 37 years after this manuscript was written. Remember that. Because the things that he was doing is already written down in this spiritual text, written 37 years before he even came through the womb. OASP. What is OASP, Malachi? Watch this. A practical guidebook to the spiritual life. So if it's practical, it's something you can put in practice. It's a guidebook, like a map, right? To the spiritual life. It's in modern American language. Nothing evil thus far. What is it? What does it say? This is the cover page of OASP. It says this. It says you have a corporeal body and a spiritual body. Hear me and I will open your understanding. I come to free not only the corporeal man, which is the flesh and blood man, but the spiritual man. Yet with your freedom, you also attain the responsibility. So that sooner or later, your fidelity, meaning your loyalty, your faithfulness, right, to your creator and to your fellow man, and righteousness, love, and good works shall become the most sacred study of your life. The most sacred study of your life is what? Your fidelity to your creator and your fellow man. Nothing evil thus far, you mumble mouth misfits. Look at this. Your God does not come in this era as a dictator. You about blew your drawers out. You want to be told, commanded what to do at all times like you a damn robot. Your God does not come in this era as a dictator, but as your elder, who? Brother. God is the brother. The creator is the father. You've been praying to God this whole time. Yeah, it's all over but the shout. And I said earlier, all the gods have fallen. Yeah? God is not to be prayed to. God is just an older brother of yours. God is just an older sister of yours. If you're praying to him and worshiping him, they're false. True God and true goddess don't want you to be praying to them and, you know, get your kneecaps dusty, snotting, lip fumbling. No, because where they at, you gonna be at one day. They just older brothers and sisters or ancestors or spirits, but they serve and praise the creator just like you do. God is the brother with ample experience, nor do I command saying you shall believe because I, your God, have said it or revealed it in this book. Ain't nobody told you have to believe what we read. Ain't nobody told you gotta believe or you're going to burn in hell for the rest of eternity. Ain't nobody said none of that. You did? But breathe in, let the light in, though. Breathe in and let the light in, though. That's what we on. That's the type of time we on. And if you think it's something Dr. Seuss, press play. Debate it, because that's all we do. You dig? And as you see, don't nobody really want to do. The cats who have tried have horribly failed. Have horribly failed. All right. No, you don't got to believe it just because it's written down somewhere. You got to prove a thing first, right? Nevertheless, through our speed, the light of the creator is revealed to man. And man is to do what? Judge himself. If we judge ourselves, we wouldn't be judged. And labor to save himself and deliver yourself. All that's in Bible. You shouldn't be spilling coffee or blowing your drawers out by none of this, right? And man is to judge himself and labor to save himself, so that by this he may have honor and glory. For the will of the creator, the God maker, is not for man to be forever led. You're not supposed to be on training wheels your whole life, boy. Eventually the training wheels got to come off. You can't be in sippy cup mode your whole life. Eventually, you got to start drinking out of big mugs. You ain't in short-legged mode your whole life like I do with my youngest son. I walk up to the curb, son. Look left, look right, look left again. Is it clear? Yeah, it's clear, Abba. All right, come on, let's walk. Your creator didn't create you to be in sippy cup mode your whole existence. Eventually, you got to do what? Mature. And you're mature enough to know how to look both ways before you cross the street. Right? See, everything with the creator is progression, advancement. You know what I mean? Y'all, you got grown men running around here calling themselves babies in spirit. I'm like, that ain't good. How long you been studying what you on? 40 damn years, and you still a baby. No. The will of the creator is not for man to be forever led, but for man to ultimately have the light of practicing good works organically from a short legger, from a short runner, from infancy up. Man, I ain't heard nothing evil yet for y'all that's around here just so scared of what you don't understand, right? Owaski is a primary source for the information in it. You hear people saying it's plagiarized or Then why I can't find none of this? Why I can't look at a video like Simeon Toko and how he regenerates and do all that and power over the spirit? And then why I can't read that in detail nowhere else? I mean, we see, of course, we see supernatural things, especially in the Bible. We do see supernatural occurrences and all that. You understand? But what I'm saying is, this is a primary for the information in it because you ain't read nothing like this nowhere else. Nowhere. Watch this. So watch me is a primary for the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development. Growth and development. For the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development of individuals, groups, and humanity. So everybody, right? For their glory and happiness and for the glory of the whole. In the words of Jehovah, Yahuwah, however you want to argue and pronounce and roll your reshes and choke on your kets, that's your business. In the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. Good night, boy. Being a Cosmon Bible, meaning a Bible of present time, containing a history of the dominions of the higher and lower heavens on the earth for the past 25,000 years. Y'all, the Bible was only dated, not even, it's the year 5785 or 86. The Bible scholars don't even date the Bible to 6,000 years ago. This deal saying 25,000 years ago, and even further. Being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean, a whole nother topic, but the proof is there. Commonly called the flood of deluge to the Cosmon era of the present time. Also, a brief history of the preceding years before the flood, from man's beginning on earth to the flood, together with a synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe. Good night. You ain't got that nowhere else. That's why it's a primary. What cosmogony do you have? The origin and study of not just your solar system, but the universe itself. What cosmogony do you have? The only one they attempt to pull out is the Big Bang, and that's been debunked. That was brought out by George Lemaitre in the 1930s. You dig? By George Lemaitre. And we got Kemetic Hotepians, you dig, trying to prove the Big Bang. You got Negro Hebrew scholars trying to prove the Big Bang with Torah. No, the Big Bang wasn't discovered to 1930 by George Lemaitre, and he introduced it to the Pope. And then told the Pope it can't even be used for an article of faith. We got the only cosmogony. Who else got it? Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It don't tell you how, though. See, Wasby give you the methodology. How was these things created? Ooh-wee. Whole nother topic, but a synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe, the creation of planets. What you reading that can top this? The creation of planets, the creation of man, the unseen worlds, plural. The unseen worlds are the spirit worlds. The labor and glory of gods and goddesses in the heavens of the earth and in the ethereal heavens above them. And it's many more. Just look, if that resonates with you, let's take go get you an Wasby, man. Tap in with the gang. That's it. Tap in with the gang, because we right here with it, man. We done already jumped out there and pressed play on everything. Easy work. So we're going to go over here. Remember, because we talking about Simeon Toko, right? All right. The fear of a black Messiah and the power of spirit over the flesh. Because obviously, that's what he was on. He was out of this world with it. All right? He was out of this world. We're going to go to the Ark of Bond first. We're going to deal with somebody named Chine. All right? Right here. We're going to read this. Archabon chapter 30. Oh, speed body blow. Now remember all these different times they tried to kill this man, and he just kept rematerializing it. Now remember, he wasn't born to 1918, y'all. Never forget that. The man wasn't born to 1918. Let me move this over. Which one is this? I think it's right here. Oh, man. Now, let me look at y'all comments real quick. Let me see. Right there. I'm right there. Okay, what we got going on so far? Yeah, dude was on a whole nother level. To be honest with you. All right, let me see what y'all talking about. All right, tap in. BC, we love my brother Brandon Carter, man. Nap time, stand up. Yeah, scared the piss out them boys. Yafa tapped into direct connection to the Great Spirit. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? You read that in the WASP too. A lot of times these cats was doing stuff, but they really didn't know that it was the Great Spirit that was leading them. You know what I mean? They really ain't know, but they just was going off their inspiration. All right, Nazarene the same faith. What's the word, King? Nah, I ain't heard nothing evil. It's crazy, man. I mean, crazy. It been cracking off since the 18. Yeah, that 1840, like right there, mid 1800s, man, it was a high spiritual awakening. But for us that know, you did, we know that's when the arc cycle of Cosmos started. The present time, it was a 3,000-year arc cycle. It started in 1848, and the high spiritual, man, it's a time of balance between spirituality and carnality, if you want to say it. You know what I mean? High spirituality started cracking off. You did all over the world. If you get into it and look, even gold was discovered during that time. You know what I mean? In the Americas, gold, nigga, the 49ers. All right, what's up with Taz? What you saying, Taz? In my opinion, the Ahuans were the angels that helped against the Belgian army. Maybe, or the Iron. Maybe you saying the Irons. Accounts say they were small yet strong and fast beings protecting and fighting for them. The Irons, that's what you're saying. Yeah. What Dred say? Sort of book on his brother, prophetic trajectory. Yeah, man, hey, man, y'all getting the dude. So that's what I'm saying. He could have been friends with your grandpappy. You know what I'm saying? Like these cats lit. He was born during the same time Malcolm X was born. And Martin Luther King and my grandmama was born in like 1928, 1929. My grandma was born 10 years after dude. You dig? My great granddaddy was born before this cat. My great granddaddy, my great grandmama, who was still alive when I was born. They didn't die till I was like my great granny, Lula Bell Harrison. She ain't died to the 88. And I was 6, and then Shem Harrison, James Harrison, he ain't died in 94. I was 12 at his funeral. Yeah, so in my life, I met people who could have been contemporaries with this cat. Man, that's crazy, bro. Jerry in the building. What's the word, Jerry? Look at my brother, man. I ain't seen my brother in a minute. What's up with Prince, man? What you been up to, bro? Love and light to you and your family. I've been peeping you. I'm happy for that. Happy for you, bro. Nehemiah say, yeah, somebody say coffee. All right. That makes sense. The greatest study of your life should be your creator and the love of your brother. Absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong. Just around here about ready to spill their coffee and blow their drawers out. Like, calm down with all that. Nehemiah going in. This is the OWASP leader. I be posting it and sending it out all the time. My Facebook friend leader. I post it and send it out all the time, love. All the time. You know what I mean? I gotta just tap in. See? Shout out to Sapinta or Meads. She said, my grandfather was born in 1940. That's what I'm saying. How can we, I mean, look, it is what it is. All right, now look, let's get into this. The problem is people worship books. You dig? And the book of the creators, for so anybody can understand, the creator's book is the creator's creation, what he created. All right? That means what you see outside, and you are part of creation. Last I checked, the laws or the commands of God are supposed to be written on your heart and in your mind. Well, if it's written on you, that makes you the book. That makes the creation the book of the creator. And there's nothing as easily read as his what? Created worlds. Well, how do you read a world, Malachi? I can hear you mumble mouth misfits now. The same way you read a room when you walk in it. You ain't putting letters together and sounding them out like my short letters. Reading is also taking in information by observation. It's the same thing you do when you come into a house or come anywhere and something just fell off around here. Yeah. They over here on crunk mode. I'm about to get up out of here. I got a weird feeling. Yeah. So we if you burn all the books tonight, where does your faith stand with your maker? If you get rid of the books, is there no more faith in your creator? Or is it still faith in the ever-present unseen creator? For me, it is. Why? Because creation is still here. And that's the creator's book. Good night. We got to stop worshiping books. Books are flawed. You understand? But you can get, that don't mean you can't navigate through them and get the information you need. Take what you need, and what don't apply to you, leave it right where it is. That's it. Leave it right where it is. All right. So now we about to read about this cat named Chine. When did Chine live, Malachi? Let's show y'all before we do, let me show y'all the timetables of prophecy. See, one thing about the gang, we always, we put everything on charts, man. We ain't finna sit up and just milly mouth with you and just throw something out there. Oh, roughly, circa. No, man. When was these cats alive you talking about? Let me stop the screen real quick and then do it the other way. Hold on one sec. I got to share the whole screen real quick. Hold on, y'all. Present. Share screen. We're going to do the entire screen now. Click on that. But out. Now watch this. What do you mean, Malachi? I just be hearing cats just, being so weak. You know what I mean? Blowing all your draws out. This right here is the timetables of prophecy, man. We got everything. We got all the arc cycles going back to the first arc cycle. The era of man was created. You know what I mean? The name of that arc cycle. All right? The archangel over that arc cycle. So we about to go down here and deal with this brother named Chine that lived during the same time as Moses. Moses was doing the 24th arc cycle. 24th arc cycle. It was a 3,400-year arc cycle. All right, started in 1553 BCE, and guess when it stopped? 1848 of the Common Era, 3,400 years. The name of that arc cycle is the arc cycle of Bond. There it is right there. The angel over that arc cycle is the angel called Lika. His rank, Nirvanian chief. Who are the great men that were born in 1553 BC? Moses of Africa, Chine of China, and Kapilia of India. These three men, sons of the Great Spirit, were born at the exact same time in different divisions of the earth in 1593. You dig? And just when they were 40, they got their charge to go ahead and start doing what they were doing. You know what I mean? So right before this arc cycle started, the arc cycle of Bond, which was the arc cycle of Speeder, these great men were born. Moses, Chine, Kapilia. You dig? So we always put things on a timeline for you. We ain't gonna just throw it out there and let you know. right? But that the name of that ark cycle was the Ark of Bond. The angel over that cycle was Lika. There it is right there. The rank of that angel was a Nirvanian chief. Let me scroll that down so y'all can see. Okay, yep, Nirvanian chief. And the great men that were born were Moses, Chine, and Capelia. An arc cycle previous that started in 3953 BCE, you got Abraham of Africa, Brahma of India, Poe of China, and shout out to our granddaddy Iwata of the Americas. Shout out to the Aboriginals, man, the Abos. You dig? But we dealing with Capelia, the 24th arc cycle, the arc, not Capelia, Chine, the 24th arc cycle, the arc cycle of Bond. And let's go read about it. Let's go read about him and let's see if his story in any way, shape, form, or fashion compares to Simeon Toko. All right, because we just read about this brother. Brother was hard to kill. They couldn't kill him. You know what I mean? And we dealing with, again, y'all, spirit over the flesh. Spirit over the flesh. Now watch this. Let's go to this Ark of Bond. All right, chapter 30, we're gonna start. And we dealing with the Ark Chine. Believe it or not, the land of China is named after this cat to this day, man. That stuff is crazy. You know what I mean? This stuff is crazy. But let's read. Let's read. Let's see if the OSP, sky, earth. OSP means sky, earth, spirit. More creations of the creator. Huh? All right, so watch this. Chapter 30, Ark of Bond, OSP, headshot. Watch this. Watch this. In course of time, Chine completed his labor with the kings of Japheth and returned to TZ to die. At this time, more than 1,000 families or communities of faithists have been established in different places. More than 1,000 families of faithists, you know what I mean? And who you know is Israelites, you know what I mean, around what you would call Northeast Africa. The real faithists were the Israelites. You know what I mean? The Israelites that worship the Creator, not the Israelites that was killing animals and drinking blood and going to war. And no, we're talking about those who were rolling with the Great Spirit, preferably the Essenes, right? That's in her too. The Essenes, your Nazarenes, the Ebionites, all them brothers were the faithists. And the faithist is just someone who has faith and unwavering conviction in the creator of suns, moons, and stars, the ever-present creator, the maker of God. All right. So it wasn't just faithists weren't just, you know, in Africa or Northeast Africa, the land of Canaan. They were in every division of the earth, in the Americas, in China, in India. You know what I mean? And they were opposite to the Orthodox. The Orthodox go to war, chew on animals, spill blood. You know what I mean? Hate their brother. That's the Orthodox. You know what I mean? Those are those who worship the gods and the saviors and the lords. The faithists, the real Israelites, don't go to war. They practice peace. They ain't about hatred. They practice love. They against slavery. They all about liberty and freedom. They don't chew on flesh. They don't drink blood nor spill blood. And we're very tapped into the Creator. So this division of the earth right here, faith is in what you know today is Japheth or China. All right, now look at this. At this time, more than 1,000 families of faithists have been established in different places, either through Chine or his followers, the chief rabbis or the chief priest. And when Chine returned before the king TZ, men and women came there from every quarter of the world to meet him and learn wisdom. Watch this. Look at this brother. This is from what, 3,400 years ago, man. Look at this. 1553 BC. And all who were in any way sick, lame, blind, or deaf, he cured by pronouncing the word eh. Those are the vowels that make up the name of the Creator. Those vowels are the exact sounds that the wind makes. The wind makes those sounds. The wind makes those sounds. Go outside, meditate, and listen to the wind blow. It'll blow your mind. So this brother was healing the sick, lame, blind, and deaf by pronouncing the name of the creator that the wind makes. And persons who were obsessed with evil spirits, he healed by permitting them to touch his staff. And many that were dead, he brought to life. For in man's presence, he showed power to accomplish anything whatsoever. Same thing Simeon Toko was on. Now, remind you, this was written in 1881, but this is about the years 1553 BCE, before the Common Era. This is about a time 3,400 years ago. What was written in 1881, how you writing about 3,400 years ago? The same way Moses wrote about the Garden of Eden, and he wasn't there. Some type of spiritual communication got to go on, don't it? Now, you ain't even got what Moses wrote down. The best you got is what Ezra wrote down, because Moses' Torah was burnt by the time we got to Babylon. So what you have today, at best, and you ain't even got that, is Ezra. So how the hell was Ezra writing about in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and he wasn't there? Spiritual communication. It's the same with this. All right, now look at it. It says right here. And many that were dead he brought to life, for in man's presence he showed power to accomplish anything whatsoever. Indeed, he even rose up in the air. He even rose up in the air and walked in it and on it over the heads of the multitude. This cat was tapped in. Oh, little old Chine. He was tapped in. He was tapped in. You dig? But notice the miracles and the spirit power, the same things you're hearing about the brother Simeon Toko. Same exact thing. And he lived, this Chine brother lived at the same exact time Moses was displaying his spiritual power in Egypt. The same time Capelia was displaying his spiritual power in India. This brother was in China doing the exact same thing, the exact same work, and teaching the exact same thing that Moses was teaching and Capelia was teaching, that Abraham was teaching, 2,400 years earlier, that Poe was teaching, Brahma and Iwata, and before them, Zarathustra. You see that? 9,000 years ago, was doing and teaching and displaying the same spiritual power and the same doctrines. You see what I'm saying? This cat, it say he rose up in the air and walked in it and on it over the heads of the multitude. Good night, boy. Good night. Look at this. Look at this. Because remember, we talking about Simeon Toko and how they was trying to kill him. These them hard to kill prophets, man. Brothers tapped in. There's really nothing you can do about it. Look at this. And while he was up in the air, he said to the multitude, I will now come down among you and die, as all men do die. And you should let my body lie 5 days, so that the eyes become sunken and black, showing that I am truly dead. And on the 6th day, you shall cast the body into the furnace and burn it to ashes. He said, let me lie dead for 5 days till my eyes is sunken and black. And on day 6, throw my ass into the incinerator. Boy, hold on. It's like, and on the 6th day, you shall cast the body into the furnace and burn it to ashes. And you shall take the ashes into the field and scatter them this way and that, so that no more of me is seen or known on the earth. That's the exact same thing they did with Simeon Toko. They took a bandsaw, chopped him on up, threw him in some radioactive containers, and flew his body parts to the 4 corners of the earth, scattered them, burnt the containers to ashes. And on the 7th day, look at this. I think ain't nobody playing no game. Look at this. And on the 7th day, which shall be a holy day for you, 7th day, Sabbath, Shabbat, right? And on the 7th day, which shall be a holy day for you, behold, you shall witness a whirlwind in the field of my ashes. And the whirlwind shall gather up the ashes of my body, and my soul shall inhabit it and make it whole. as you now see me. Y'all, this is the power of spirit over flesh. He's saying, even if you burn my body to ashes, like they did with the brother Simeon Toko, who could have been best friends with your grandpappy. This man 3,400 years ago, 3,600 years ago is telling you like, hey, look, I'm about to die. Let my body lie dead for 5 days. Till my eyes are sunken in black. On the 6th day, incinerate me. And on the 7th day, which is a holy day, you're going to witness me rematerialize. Well, what was this Simeon Toko doing? Remember, this was written down 37 years before he was born. And it's about something 3,400 years ago. And not one time and nothing we read did we even see that Simeon Toko was even referencing Owaspi. Owaspi was out. It's already written. He ain't referencing Owaspi. He ain't doing none of that. But the power he displaying, you understand, was already written down in his primary source. And it shows that thousands of years ago, brothers was doing what they say Simeon Toko was doing. If y'all understand that, drop a 9,000 in the chat. If y'all understand that, drop a 9,000 in the chat. You understand? Because thousands of years ago, what they're reporting about Simeon Toko and how he kept rematerializing and how they couldn't kill him, you dig? Bro, it's prophets from thousands of years ago that was doing the same thing. The exact same thing. I say, man, good night. This cat was serious. Nigga, this cat was serious. All right, look, hey, man, look. When you start piecing this stuff together, you be like, man, hold on. What is you even talking about? This deal saying on the 7th day, which shall be a holy day for you, Shabbat, right? Behold, you shall witness a whirlwind in the field of my ashes, and the whirlwind shall gather up the ashes of my body, and my soul shall inhabit it and make it whole, as you now see me. He like, as I am alive right now, after you burn me and scatter my ashes, I'm gonna reappear like you see me now. What? Look at this. And I will break the world. And I will break the whirlwind and descend down to the earth and abide with you for another 7 days. Wasn't Simeon Toko seen alive walking on land after they tried to drown him? Wasn't he seen? Didn't he appear walking around in their offices after they tried to saw him to death and burn his body? Well, y'all, how in the hell is this happening to prophets 3,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, and 9,000 years ago? And where else can we read that? If Owaspi ain't a primary source, then get the flipping. Get the flipping. Show me somebody that get incinerated, dismembered, miraculously. I'm talking about miraculously regenerate, dead tissue and all, and come back to life and be rapping at you like, hey, nigga, ain't nothing but your regular. He said, I will break the whirlwind and descend down to the earth and abide with you for another 7 days. And then you shall see a ship, a UFO, a ship, descending from heaven in an exceedingly great light. And I will enter it and ascend to the second heavens, or AKA Etheria, the emancipated heavens. A lot of y'all don't know about that. You know what I mean? You got the atmosphere, which is a whole nother degree of density. You dig? But then the atmosphere travels with the earth. And you got what's outside of the earth's atmosphere and every atmosphere of every corporeal planet, which is called outer space, or Etheria, because it's made out of ether. Remind you, this brother's 3,400, 3,600 years ago, right? Watch this. Watch this. What you think? It's a game? What you think? We playing? Look at it. Look at it. Neither shall any man, woman, or child say, behold, Chine was a god, nor shall you build an image of me, nor a monument, nor in any way do more for me or my memory than to the least of mortals. For I say to you, I am only who? A man, Damon. Huh? You're not supposed to worship men, angels, God, lords. Why, Malachi? Because there are one-time men and women. No, it's the creator, the God maker. But you're about this, the creator ain't in the image of man. Woman, angel, or an animal. The creator's ever present, everywhere, but yet unseen. The closest you got to that on earth is oxygen. Yeah, oxygen is everywhere. It's invisible, but it's everywhere. Right? We breathe in the same, the air I'm pulling through my bull nostrils is the same air that Simeon Toko was pulling through his bull nostrils when he was alive. Really can't put no image on earth or wind. You see? So the creator gave you an example of whatever presence is on earth, oxygen. Everywhere at one time and yet unseen. All up in your lungs, all up in your hair, your nostrils, all over the waters. So even though this brother had great power, even though he was tapped in, he said, you better not bow no knee and worship me. I'm a man. I'm a man. Don't make no God out of me. I'm a man. Don't worship me. Because even though man can rise to be God, he's just not to be worshipped. Good night, boy. I know somebody mad. I'm going to make it make sense for you. Believe that. Neither shall any man, woman, or child say, behold, Chine was a god, nor shall you build an image of me, nor a monument, nor in any way do more for me or my memory than to the least of mortals. He's like, don't be doing all that extra. You understand? You wouldn't do that for the layman or the less fortunate that's on the streets begging. What you doing that for me for? For I say to you, I am only a man who has put away earth possessions, desires, and aspirations. Y'all see how you the path to your spiritual powers? You got to detach. You got to detach. A lot of us got earthly desires that, you got to detach. You want to be on them type of levels. You got to detach. You dig? A lot of us got earthly desires, whether they're sexual, right? Whether it's some good old chiba, some good old smoke, whether it's some good old alcohol, whether it's envy, jealousy, hatred, whatever it may be. You dig? What you gonna find out about all these brothers and sisters is this: they were detached from the earth. Detached. You know what I mean? It wasn't about all your earthly possessions and your desires and aspirations and they was logged in. All right. And whatever you see me do or know of my having done, the same is possible to all men and women created alive on the earth. It's the same thing Yeshua said in John 14. The works that I do, you gonna do the same thing and greater. Well, 1553 BC is 1500 years before, or 1400 years before the real Yeshua lived. And Chine already telling you, look, man, don't worship me. I'm a man. What you see me doing, you can do. That's a powerful message right there. You know what I mean? To inspire the youth, to inspire those around you. Hey, man, what you think what I'm doing is major? You can do that. Let me show you how to do it. Look at this. Verse 9. Verse 9. Remembering that all things are possible with the Creator, and to him only is due all honor and glory forever. I don't hear nothing evil yet. What you gonna say just because it's cat from Japheth? What you know is China today? He telling you only deal with the Creator. And through the Creator, all things are possible. And to the Creator only is due all the honor and glory forever. So Chine died and was burnt to ashes on the 6th day. under the superintendence of King TZ, and the ashes were scattered in the field as commanded. Now look what happens. Look what happens. And on the seventh day, while the multitude surrounded the entire place, a whirlwind, a vortex, came and gathered up the ashes in a small degree. And the ashes were illumined, lit up. And the soul of Chine went into them. Then he burst the whirlwind and came down even at the king's feet. And Chine said, "Do you know who I am?" And the king answered, saying, "In truth, you are Chine. And because this has come to pass, I decree that this, your native land, shall now and forever be called China." Or Chineya, China. The land of China is named after dude. I say, get out of here with this, man. So China, I always wonder where China got his name from. I looked at the name China. You know what I mean? China is named after a man. Named after a man named Chine. And I will send word to the other kings also, and they will decree the same thing. Right? So look what happens. So he's back alive. He's rematerialized. His soul came back into them ashes. They lit up the whirlwind. He broke the whirlwind, came and stood before the king and said, "You know who I am?" He said, "Yeah, I know who you are. Matter of fact, we naming the land after you. And I'm going to send a decree to all the kings, and they're going to do the same thing." Chine said, "Yes, do so. And since the Father, the Creator, has allotted me 7 days to remain with his chosen and with you, O king, apprise those whom I will name to you to come and see me." So Chine told the king whom he desired to come. And Chine walked about on the earth even the same as before death. Ain't that what Simeon Toko was doing? But he's doing things and he's bearing witness to something that he never read nor was referencing. That was written down 37 years before he was born about events 3,400 years early. That's what we mean by Owaspi as a primary source. You can't make this type stuff up, man. And Chine walked about on the earth even the same as before death, nor could any man tell by looking at him that he had passed through death. He walking around just like you walking around. Nor were his clothes different, although they were made out of the ashes in the whirlwind. Good night. On the last day that he was to remain, he called together TZ and the persons he had selected and spoke to them, saying, Let's hear some of the doctrine of we already heard some of it. Let's hear some of the doctrine. What did he have to say as a re-embodied person, or a spirit that rematerialized as the mortal or the fleshly Chine? What did he have to say? You know what I mean? What was he teaching? What was he teaching? If y'all getting some understanding, y'all drop a 6,000 in the chat, baby. Drop a 6,000 in the chat. Shout out to my brother Bishop X in the building. What's the word, King? Good old water, boy. Oh, wow, bro. Y'all drop a 6,000 in the chat if y'all getting some understanding. This brother did exactly, you know what I mean, was doing exactly what we just heard about Simeon Toko. This nigga's burnt to ashes, y'all. Ashes scattered. The Creator sent a whirlwind, gathered them ashes up. The ashes appear, he's re-embodied and appeared as he was when he was walking in mortal form and couldn't nobody tell the difference. Come on, man. We got to get past all the extra. Start calling a spade a spade. So what was he teaching? I see 6,000 in the chat. What was he teaching? Watch this. Easy work, man. Easy work. He said, "My brothers and my sisters, in the name of the Great Spirit." Oh, man. My brothers and sisters, in the name of the Great Spirit, hear me. These are Chine's last words, for the Father calls me. Be attentive so that you may remember my sermon. Also consider and reason regarding my words. For I am no more nor less than one of you. Look at this, y'all. This nigga's a re-embodied person after he been incinerated. And he say, for I am no more or less than one of you. Because you know what? You'll blow your drawers out. Your knees will be slapping like a naked newborn. And you'll get your kneecaps dusty bowing to something like this if you saw that. You see that? And even with all this great display of power, Shine is still not to be worshipped. Period. That's not your creator. See? Think about that, because there's people out here that worship Jesus. There's people out here that worship Buddha. There's people out here that worship Krishna. These are men. Men with great power, but nonetheless, they're men that you're not supposed to worship. If anything, you're supposed to be in a brotherhood with Messiah. Brotherhood with the anointed. Following the path of the higher light. If anything, that's what you're supposed to be doing. But you ain't supposed to be worshiping your brothers, man. Bowing and worshiping your sisters. Like, come on, we got to get past that. You know what I mean? I think we all know better by now. All right? Now, we all should know better by now. Now watch this. Watch this. I was sent into the world to wall this great people around with the Creator's hand, Jehovah's hand. I have made you an exclusive people for 3,000 years to come. What? I give to you peace and liberty. I have drawn a veil over the bloody past and taught you to love and respect one another. So there was a time in China's history where it was peaceful. It wasn't all the war and before the British colonialism of Hong Kong and all this extra, you know, before any of that, man. Right? So the teachings are the same. That's the point. See, get that out your, oh, baby, that he over there in Jaffa, they ain't got nothing to do. Look, he teaching the same thing Moses teaching. Same thing Capilla teaching. Same thing Abraham had taught. Same thing Poe had taught. Same thing Iwata taught. Same thing Brahma taught. Same thing Zarathustra taught. Same thing Sakai taught. Same thing Yahshua taught. Same thing Caillou taught. What is we talking about here? And they lived in different divisions of the earth, never met each other, and lived at different time periods, at times 3,000 years apart. You ain't heard nothing evil yet coming up out of the mouth of one of these sons of the Creator. Nothing. I give you peace and liberty. I've drawn a veil. I give you peace and freedom. I've drawn a veil over the bloody past and taught you to love and respect one another. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Look at this. China shall become the most populous nation in the entire world. Y'all, he's saying this 3,600 years ago. And who has the Earth's largest population to date? Type in the chat. Who to this very day has the most people living within its borders? Type it in the chat and type the number if you know. Man, I'm telling you, man. Like, we gonna stop playing. We gonna stop playing. I hear all you Millie Mouth Negroes waiting for World War III, all Israel and Hamas and all the bloody is about to we about to get up out of here. Yo, monkey ass ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. China has the most people within its borders, y'all, and it's 2 billion of these Chinese folk. 2 billion in one land. It's only 8 billion people in the earth. Shout out to my son Hezekiah. He just asked me yesterday. He said, Abba, how many people is it in the world? I said, son, they say about 8 billion. He said, oh, and I'm one of those 8 billion? I said, yes, you are, son. They show you how special you are. Oh, okay. Took off running. You know what I mean? China. So that means that's a prophecy that went forth 3,600 years ago about today that you can verify. China has the most people within its borders. It's not Russia. Huh? It ain't nowhere else. China has more people within its borders than anywhere in the world. 2 billion. China should become the most populous nation in the entire world. This is the miracle of the Father to you. Your doctrines now and forever shall rest on the foundation I have given you. Be watchful against gods, what they call Josephs, gods and saviors, and especially wary of spirits of the dead who do not profess the great all person. Yeah, watch that. You know, a lot of y'all into spirit communication and all that. And yeah, no doubt. Nothing wrong with it. But look, know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. You better watch out, because if it's 8 billion people on earth, how many spirits you think in the atmosphere? At least double. Huh? And the majority of these folks are scandalous. What kind of spirits are inspiring them? Scandalous spirits. See, you got to get out of that mindset that every spirit is so benevolent and for you. You know what I mean? They just sitting around humming and drinking lattes, and no. It's some scandalous, malevolent spirits. Spirits is out here to do you harm. You better know who your maker is out here. Look what this brother say after he rematerialized as a mortal. Be watchful against gods and saviors, and especially wary. Like we looking at these spirits with a jaundiced eye. Wary of spirits of the dead who do not profess the great all person, which is the creator. Any spirit you hollering at, you want to know if it's down with the creator, they gonna come professing the creator, the God maker. They gonna tell you, no, don't be praying to me and bowing to me. I'm just your bruh. No. You can't worship me. All such are instigators of war and lust after earthly things. He like, look, watch out for all that, man. You dig? Because there's billions of deceiving spirits out there. Billions with a B. Look at this. Be exclusive to one another, neither permitting outside barbarians to come among you, nor especially to marry with my people. So watch out, man. Don't be just because you want to engage in some loin warfare. Hey, control yourself. Watch out. Because every mixture ain't right. Every mixture don't produce, you understand, someone is capable of receiving the higher light. You gotta watch out for with who you making children with. You see that? Look at this. Yet you should not war against them. Huh? But it is lawful for you to build walls around your land to keep them away. And these walls shall stand as the Father's judgment against all people who molest or injure you. Y'all ever heard of the Great Wall of China? What was that built for? And at every change of the moon, salute, Shabbat, right? And at every change of the moon, you shall renew your covenant, which was my covenant with the Creator. Change of the moons, from the new moon to half moon to full moon, back to a half, back to noon. These are the changing of the moons. And technically, how you mark the Sabbaths. You know what I mean? Look at this. Teaching it to your children and commanding them to teach it to theirs after them, and so on forever. Swearing yourselves to the Great Spirit. The Great Spirit, y'all, is the Creator. Not the Holy Spirit, the Great Spirit. Not Ruach HaKodesh, Ruach HaGadol. Gadol means great. The Great Spirit. Ruach is spirit. HaGadol means the great. All right? So it's Ruach HaGadol. So, you know, you gotta look. Remember, he said, be wary of all that. You gotta be careful. All right? Swearing yourselves to the Great Spirit to ignore all heavenly rulers, but the Creator. But the Creator. The I am who is where? Everywhere. Everywhere. And see, that's one thing that no one living or breathing or dead or who has ever pulled oxygen through their nostrils can ever claim to be ever present. If you're in the image of a man sitting in a chair somewhere, you're not ever present. You're not ever present. All right? For example, it's easy work, man. Easy work. We like to give examples around here. All right? Y'all know who that is, right? That's El. El. All right? Father of gods, the Canaanite god. And El is sitting on the throne in the image of a man. You see? All right? El is one of the titles of biblical God. Yahweh is too. There go Yahweh. Yahweh. Or Yahweh. Yahweh was an ancient, or Yahweh was an ancient living time deity worshipped in Israel and Judah. Okay, so this is biblical God, y'all. Come on. As the primary deity. And the head of the pantheon of the polytheistic religion of Yahwism. There you go right there. That's Yahweh sitting on a throne. Okay? Like, we ain't making none of this stuff up. He can't be ever present. You remember, you can't see the creator as you see a man. This stuff is easy. And it took the gang to swing through and make a distinction between the creator and the gods. So in short, if whoever you worship can be seen or has been seen and is worshiped, that God is false. God is false. All right? Though no consensus exists regarding the deity's origins, scholars generally hold that the deity, Yahweh, is associated with who, y'all? Seer. Y'all, that's Edom. Look at this. It's a Seir, or Mount Seir, Edom. All these are Edomite lands. Paran, Teman, and then later with Canaan, which ended up becoming the land of Israel. Come on, man. We got to stop playing the game, is all I'm saying. The gods are in images of men sitting on thrones. Okay? What this brother say? What this brother say? Right here. 31:11. Arkaban. He say, swearing yourselves to the Great Spirit, to ignore all heavenly rulers, but the Creator, the I am who is everywhere. El is not everywhere. He's sitting on a throne somewhere. Yahweh is not everywhere. He's sitting on a throne in the image of a man. All right? If that makes sense, drop a 3,000 in the chat, man. It's easy work. Easy work. And if idolaters come among you proclaiming their God or their Lord or their Savior, do not listen to them. But nevertheless, do not persecute them or injure them, for they are in darkness. There you go. We ain't got to go to war and kill nobody because Vocab Malone or Tazar Yacht come around here quoted and devoted to the deity. We just know what, y'all, they just in darkness. They going to get this light that keep coming around us. You're going to get light bombed. But other than that, we ain't, because we're commanded not to go to war with you. If y'all could, y'all kill one of us. But we command not to go to war with y'all. For they are in darkness. Neither be conceited over them. For your forefathers were like them. He like, look, just remember, like the trap and the deception of the false gods, y'all, is everywhere. The Father has made a wide world and fruitful and joyous, and he gives it to man's keeping. To one people, one country, to another people, another country, and so on over the entire world. He gives China to you, and he says, be his brothers and sisters in this, my holy land, which in the ancient day, and for the record, all of the earth is holy to the Creator. It ain't just one New Jersey strip of land. You know what I mean? Wherever his chosen are, which are the faithists, which are the Israelites, right? Who don't war, who don't spill blood, drink blood, who don't eat flesh, who ain't hating their brothers and all that. Those are the faithists. All right. And wherever we at, the land is holy. Which in the ancient days was made to bloom as a flowery kingdom by my chosen, the faithists of old. Nothing evil thus far. But they were neglectful of my commandments. Idolaters came upon them and destroyed them, and laid waste their rich fields. Yes, the bones of my people were strewn over all the land. But now you are delivered once more, and you shall make China bloom again as my celestial kingdom. That's powerful, man. He's teaching this as a as a re-embodied mortal after being incinerated, just like the brother Simeon Toko. And you shall multiply and build and plant and make this heritage which I give to you into an example to all peoples of industry, peace, and thrift, and of the multitude that can dwell together in one kingdom, manifesting love, patience, and virtue. You should be an example before all the world. And by your neglect of war and of war inventions, you should be a testimony of my presence in this day. You see, and even you trip off the brother Simeon Toko, right? Even when you trip off him, he wasn't going to war, and you know what I mean? He wasn't going to war and taking up arms and trying to overthrow the government. None of that. None of that. You dig? He just was so tapped in, they couldn't deal with him. They couldn't deal with him. He was tapped in. You know what I mean? And that's where you want to be at. That's where you want to be at. You know what I mean? For you so much, boy, because of that spirit power. Like people, brothers and sisters, get me. Oh, he knows what he told them. And by your neglect of war and of war inventions, you should be a testimony of my presence in this day. For the time, look at this. For the time shall surely come when I will put down all unrighteousness and war and idolatry. And I will be the all person to the whole world. There was great to say. Time coming where his weapons down. See, everybody that's at war and Israelites so happy, we're ready to go to war. Y'all, all that is through inspiration of false gods. The chosen are the credit on war. You don't go to war. You know what I mean? Pray to handle that business. That's what we're looking for. Pray to handle that business. You know what I mean? He had spoken his last words are spoken. The greatest ship of fire descends from his highest heaven. And they will rise up in this, and even so shall you, who are pure and good and full of love. Dang, bro. This supposed to be just so evil. Where all the mealy-mouthed misfits love to just be a slanderous jaw and just run their mouth about what they don't understand. You ain't heard nothing evil yet. You ain't heard nothing evil yet. You know what I mean? You ain't heard nothing evil yet. She never will rise up in this, and even so shall you, who are pure and good and full of love. A light like a great cloud, but brilliant, blinding with holy light descended over the entire field. Many fell down and frequently cried aloud in great sorrow. And Chine went and kissed TZ and immediately walked toward the middle of the field and was lost in the exceedingly great light. And the light turned around like a whirlwind and rose up higher and higher, then was seen no more. Chine was gone. And now the power and glory of the Creator were manifested. TZ, the king, at once made special laws protecting all persons who rejected gods, lords, and saviors, worship the all light. Yeah, who we? Can't say bump already. I'm about to decree special laws to protect Chine's people, the faithless. I've seen it. I mean, this man was burnt to ashes. Ashes scattered in the field, and a vortex came through, and he rematerialized and walked amongst us and talked amongst us and taught us, you feel me, as if he was still mortal. They can even tell the difference. Man, that's crazy. 4 other kings followed the same edicts and laws. The faithless were safely delivered into freedom throughout Guinea or China. Thus end the revelation of the 3 contemporaneous sons. Look at this. Thus end the revelations of the 3 contemporaneous sons of the Creator. Capelia, Moshe, Rabbeinu, Moshe, our dear brother Moses, in Northeast Africa, and Chile. All these brothers lived at the same time and had the same light on them in different divisions of the earth and taught the exact same thing that light inspired them to. Never met each other. That's how cold your creator is. That's how cold your creator is. You know what I mean? Y'all get some understanding. Y'all drop some 6,000s in the chat, baby. Go ahead and stretch your legs a little bit. We're going to talk about Zarathustra next, man. We're going to talk about Zarathustra next, man. This is Simeon Toko. Remember, the Belgian army tried to 21-gun salute him to no avail. So many angels showed up, blinded them jokers. They tried to throw him in a seed grinder. No avail. They took the brother up in a plane and tried to throw him over into the ocean. He stopped the plane. No avail. They tried to run a tractor over this brother, and they did. Chopped his body in pieces. He rematerializes. Huh? They done threw this man in a meat grinder. Chopped his body up into pieces, scattered. Look, put it in radioactive boxes, flew him to the 4 corners of the earth, incinerated the boxes, and this Negro is in their office 3 days later. They done chopped. Look, they didn't convince this. They didn't straight told him, we got to operate on you, man. You mess around and got a tumor. They took the man heart out of his chest. He woke up and said, give me my heart back. Man, so if Simeon Toko, who never mentioned Owaski, Simeon Toko, y'all wasn't born in 1918. Owaski's written in 1881. 37 years earlier. And the very things that the world is saying, Simeon Toko got y'all witnesses. The world is saying, like, look, that brother was hard to kill. They couldn't kill him. No matter what they did, they couldn't kill him. Y'all, they even turned the man into soup. Nigga, the Portuguese, not the military, but the government hired out African mercenaries to chop him in pieces. They turned him into soup and drank his blood, and the man still reappeared. Now, how are the actions of a man who's born 37 years after Owaski is written, and then ain't no telling what 67 to 70 years after he born, he going through all this, right? And how beautiful is it that it's already written in Owaski that our archetypal prior, the brother Chineke doing the same thing. How in the hell is this possible, y'all? How is this book written 37 years before the man was born? A good 60 to 70 years before he started proving that spirit and soul had power over the flesh and rematerializing. How is this book written before he's even born, 70 years before he get on this mission, and it's talking about events that went down 3,400 years earlier? Simeon Toko ain't never reference Owaski or read Owaski. Ain't nothing out there to say that. But in Owaski, the prophets of old were doing the same thing. They couldn't kill him. Ooh-wee. 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 Yeah. I know somebody about them blew their drawers out. It's all good. Shout out to my brother Bezel, the aura like Bezel. What's going on, huh? I'm over at Amstad, y'all forgive me. You know what I mean? My brother Yehoiakim Mikael, salute, Israelite for life. What's the word, King? La Shalom TV. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Peace to the God, man. Y'all get on over there and get you an Owaski. Go to his playlist and just click play. And start studying. A lot of y'all out here looking like mental misfortunates. Alright? This is the bro right here that kicked it all off, man. You know what I mean? They kicked it off for us in today, in our era. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. I wouldn't have listened to no dry ass somebody I can't relate to. I'd have hit skip. What the hell is he talking about? You dig? That's the brother that kicked it off, man. Salute the brother, man. He been laboring a long time, you know, when it comes to this spirituality and bringing this Owaski to the forefront. You know what I mean? That's bruh right there. Y'all get on over there, like, subscribe, share, tap in with him. Y'all got any type of ailments or illnesses, go to the brothers and herbalists. You go right to his website, bittersweetherbals.com. Get your bitters. You know what I mean? We got healing testimonials and all that, man. Tap in with the gang. We out here. We outside. You know what I mean? Salute to my brother. Elijah 7 in the building. What's the word, bro? Peace, love, light, and healing. Tickle, the greatest unstoppable. I talked to my sister today. I told you, Tickle, it's crazy. It's crazy. These Tickles talk today. Salute, sis. The greatest with you. Believe that. Okay. We good. Let's get on over to the stories of those stories. Ain't no man. What you think it's a game? What you think you playing? You playing? Alright, maybe right there. I'm sure we're gonna go to the book of God's word. I speed headshot. Body blow. Huh? And then there's a finisher. Gang ain't playing. Everything I've been listening to, y'all been dry. It's just evident that the gods are falling. You know what I mean? He's going around either want to talk about the white man's the devil or everybody snitching on their brothers and getting caught up in Ricos. And it's like, only reason y'all acting like that because your gods have been removed. But see, we give something better in the place of your gods. Okay? I'm the maker of God. You don't have nothing of a higher authority than that. I don't care how long you niggas been preaching and licking your fingers and flipping through Bible, Quran, whatever. You don't have a higher authority than who made your God that you worship. We say the great spirit or the creator, the God maker. Huh? Whatever anybody else talking about is irrelevant at that point because you ain't got nothing of a higher authority than the ever-present creator. And he everywhere. Invisible, not in the form of invisible name. You ain't got no higher authority rolling off your tongue. Spewing out your mouth than what we talking about. All right, yeah, that part. We're going to go to the book of God's word next. Then we're going to get on my body. I got some business I got to handle. You know what I mean? But it's always good to hop on and chop it over the fam, man. Y'all believe that. And we making some major league moves behind the scenes. Look, man, the guy ain't going to be all good. We going to be straight, man. You're going to be straight, man. The brothers and sisters is making power moves out here. Yeah, see how they liquefied this bro, turned him into soup. Drank his blood. He's still like, man, y'all don't leave me alone, man. Hey. Salute. So we going to the book of God's word, chapter 29, I speed, body blow. I'm going to jump down to verse like 14 from 12. Yeah, I'm starting around verse 11. You know what I mean? You can get some understanding. You can get some understanding. That's right. Y'all see what y'all say? You know, the burn on sage, we are the sage. Oh, wait. So let me pay this water bill real quick. Y'all be right back. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go ahead and talk about Big Brother Zarathustra. Matter of fact, I need to show the timetables of prophecy one more time. Let's do that first. I do the entire screen for that one. Let's go show, because we always put everything on the timeline. Always. I mean, we ain't just, we're looking at our fingers and guessing which way the wind blows. No, it's not what we're doing here. Not what we're doing here at all. All right, so we dealing with the brother Zarathustra. If y'all look all the way to the right here, you see Zarathustra. I didn't mean to do that, but that's what he is. Zarathustra right there. See Abraham, Brahma, Poti, Wata, arc cycle before that is Zarathustra. All right. The name of that arc cycle was the arc cycle of Lu. It's the 22nd arc cycle since the creation of mortals. It started in 7003 BCE. It ran for 3,100 years. It ended in 3953 BCE. It's the arc cycle of Lu. The angel or the archangel over that arc cycle was one by the name of Fragapati. Some say Fragapati. You hear that and start laughing. Yeah, but until you read what we're talking about, the joke's on you. Fragapati was an Orion chief and the main brother in the earth in those days that was spitting the doctrine of the Creator was Zarathustra. All right, so we're gonna go 2 arc cycles before Moses, Chine, and Capilli. We're gonna go at least 6,000 years before them, 7,053 BCE, and deal with Zarathustra. All right, and let's see if he was teaching what all the great sons and daughters of the Creator were teaching. You understand? This stuff is easy work, bro. Like, I don't even know what people still milly-mouthing about. What is you so offended for? You know what I mean? If what we saying is wrong, we'll bring something higher. Or debate it, or don't. Man around here just running mouth. Like, I don't know where y'all, we don't just talk where we from. Or just running your mouth about something like we care. Your opinion don't matter. My opinion don't matter. Bro's running around here just so offended. You dig? If you got something better than what we talking about, bring it to the flow. Bring it to the flow. Let us examine it and scrutinize it. Let's debate it. Let's put a spiritual wage on the line. That's what y'all don't like. Y'all don't like the fact that we play ball. Yeah, we ain't gonna just let y'all hollyhock and just talk out the side of your neck about what we talking about. No, wolf, nigga, what's good? Press play on something. Yeah, people ain't trying to do that. Then when you tap into your little podcast and all that, it be so dry. It's dry. It ain't nothing to rap about. You think? What else you gonna rap about? We come through telling y'all and showing y'all the difference between the Creator and the God you serve. Look, if that don't resonate with you, then everything else that comes off your mouth is of a lower light or a lower value than what we talk. Shout out to my boy Simao Shalom. The God! If the God is false, then everything you doing is irrelevant. The God! Hey man, Simao cracks me up with that one, boy. He cracks me up with that one, man. He be like, the God! And I'm like, yeah, you right, boy. The gospel is real. Yeah, the gospel is real. So, yeah, we going back to 7,053 BC. Okay, 9,000 years ago. You got a prophet from 9,000 years ago that you got on record teaching the ways of the Creator, the God maker? No, you don't. No, you don't. The earliest you gonna go is Moses, maybe a Noah. You know what I mean? That's what a bus stop for you. But the biblical scholars tell you Noah is during the middle kingdom of Egypt. Like Noah is around, his flood happened when the pyramid of Giza is being built. That don't make no damn sense. That don't make no sense. The timeline is off. That's why when we debated Kemet, they couldn't rock with us dealing with the time. Or nothing scientific. No cosmogony, no time, no creation, nothing. Just talk. Just talk. See that? And I see Slavetta just put up Jabari debating who was that? Elder Slugberry or Elder Tiny Gun, Yara, Nepal Slow Ass, and Gorilla Shebrew. But I bet this Sinetta won't put up that debate the Creator Gang had with Kemet. I bet you don't put it back up and replay it. I bet you don't. You dig? And just play it straight through without edits and all this extra stuff y'all was trying to do. Man, we porked them boys in handicap. Let's go read about Zarathustra. All right. Shout out to the big homie. Zarathustra preached a high noon, and when the light fell on top of the temple of the stars, the 12 executioners entered the prison and bound the prisoners, hands together behind their backs. Then with another rope, they tied their feet, bringing the rope up the back of the legs and passing it between the arms at night. They carried the end of the rope up over a beam and down again, and the executioners Zarathustra seized the rope and pulled upon it. And he swung the bodies of the victims high above the walls. Good night. And secured the rope, leaving them hanging there. They literally were hanging, lynching them. Watch this. Zarathustra was actually lynched, hung. Zarathustra was thus hung between two thieves. Sound familiar? And while he was still alive, a bolt of light fell upon the temple of the stars, splitting it in two, and it fell to the ground. From that, a cloud of dust arose that grew to the air, and the whole city was chosen. And then down came another bolt of light, and lo, and behold, the walls of the city fell down, and Judas perished in the chamber of the wall. The multitude ran for the king. The multitude ran for the king, and when they brought him out of the palace, another bolt of light fell on the palace, and it crumbled into dust. Whew. Boy, well, they throwing lightning bolts out of a clear blue sky. The king called to his guards, but they did not obey him, but fled. And so the multitude slew the king. Good night, boy. The learned men then went down to the place of executions, and Zarathustra was not dead yet. The two thieves were dead. And Zarathustra said to the learned men, I guess these are the quote-unquote wise men of the Magi, now I will give up my body, and behold, you shall say I am dead. Let the executioners then take down my body and cast it into the lion's den. You shall witness that they will not eat my flesh. And some shall say, behold, the lions are not hungry. At that time you shall cast in the bodies of the two thieves. And lo, the lions will fall upon them and eat their flesh. He's saying, throw me in there, they ain't gonna eat me, not at first. When you throw them thieves down there, they gonna eat. Then the learned men shall say, behold, that happened because Zarathustra's virtue lay in his flesh, which was different. Now I declare to you, these things are not of the flesh, but of the spirit. For angels shall gather around my body and prevent the lions from tearing my flesh. Of which matter you shall testify before the multitude. For when the lions are devouring the flesh of the thieves, the angels will go away from my body. And behold, the lions will return and eat my flesh also. Zarathustra is about to get the mastery of him eating on. Just like Simeon Toko was was dismembered under a tractor. Or sent through a meat grinder and chopped to pieces, or sent through a seed grinder, chopped into pieces and made soup of. Look what Zarathustra was saying. The lion's gonna chew on me. Now watch this. By which it shall be proved to you that even lions, the most savage of beasts, have spiritual sight and are governed by the unseen world, even more than man. Good night, boy. Good night. Look at this. After Zarathustra, what is that? Okay. After Zarathustra had thus spoken to the learned men, he spoke to the Father, saying, receive my soul, O Ormaz. Ormaz means Or is light, Maz is master. So, O master light, the all light. Another way to say the creator is just the way they spoke the creator's name in the area of Persia. Called the creator Ormaz. All right, in the areas of Canaan and all that, Jehovah or Yehovah. F-O-E. In the Americas, amongst Ewat and them, Ego Queen, for the Great Spirit. You know what I mean? Out there in Japheth, you got 10, or some still said Ormaz, the Great Spirit. You feel me? But what proved that they was talking about the same one is the characteristics and the behavior, who they talking about. Right? Even Shine told you, the creator's everywhere. Unseen. Oh, they talking about the same one. You know what I mean? It is. And his spirit departed out of the body, and in that same moment the whole earth shook and trembled. Many houses fell down. So they cast the body, Zarathustra's body, into one of the dens in which were 17 lions. But they fled from the body. Then the executioners cast in the bodies of the thieves, and lo and behold, the lions fell upon them instantly. Watch this. And when the angels went away from Zarathustra's body, the lions returned to it and ate also. So he's in the stomach lining of these lions. Huh? Yeah. He's in the stomach lining, the intestines of his body of these lions. And the keepers turned in other lions, and all the flesh was eaten. And the multitude ran and brought the body. So it wasn't just one lion that was eaten. It was a couple of them. And the multitude ran and brought the body of Zulus and cast it in, and the lions ate it also. And next they cast in the king's body, and the lions ate it and were appeased upon it. Now when it was night, some of the Zarathustrians gathered together at the neighbor's house, and Asher was present. And they formed a living altar in order to pray for the soul of Zarathustra, and for the two thieves, and for Zulus, and lastly for the king. And now the learned men came in saying, why have you not, during all these years, notified us of these things? Behold, Zarathustra is dead. Asher said. Have I not carried the alms bowl publicly, proclaiming them from day to day? And the learned people said, pity, O Asher. A knave has dethroned his reason. A knave is a boy or a young man or a deceiver. A deceiver has dethroned his reason. Now I declare to you, it is the same now as in the olden time. The learned men are farther away from the Father than are those devouring lions. Look at that. All these learned, educated Negroes who claim they so spiritual. It's the same today as it was in the olden time. The learned men, the wise men, the men of renown, are further away from the Father than are those devouring lions. Bad drop, boy. You look into the corporeal world for light, truth, and power, but are blind to the spirit which underlies all things. I declare to you, whether it is heat, light, or disease that floats in the earth, or growth that comes out of the earth, and all things, it is the unseen that rules over the seen. Y'all heard that? You heard what he said? I declare to you, whether it is heat, light, or disease that floats in the earth, or growth that comes out of the earth. In all things, it is the unseen, y'all. In all things, it is the spirit world that rules over the tangible, visible world. It is the unseen that rules over the seen. And more powerful than heat and light and life and death is Ormaz, or the creator, the person of all things. Ooh, wait. I ain't got nothing harder than this. Stop it. For you have learned this. You have learned this. What? That it is the creator, the person of all things, and more powerful than any heat, light, life, and death. Till you have learned this, I can explain nothing that you can comprehend. Good night. He's like, look, if you ain't got the basics, then guess what we doing, y'all? We're wasting our time. You ain't got the basics. Till you have learned this, I can explain nothing that you can comprehend. And yet to know this, the beginning of the foundation of everlasting happiness. Know what, y'all? And more powerful than heat and light and life and death is the creator, the person of all things, that the unseen rules the seen. Until you know this, I can explain nothing that you can understand. But to know this is the beginning of the foundation of everlasting happiness. Watch this. Think me playing? Man, watch this. While Asher was thus speaking, behold, the soul of Zarathustra came and stood before them. Hold on. This man just got ate. This man just got ate up and donged out, boo-booed out by several lions. How is he able to rematerialize and, you feel me, appear as a mortal? Just like the brother Simeon Toko. Huh? But this about Zarathustra 9,000 years ago. The prophets of the faithless prophets that rose straight are hard to kill. Can't kill them. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man. Look what he say. He say, and Zarathustra came and stood before them, and he was arrayed in the semblance or the likeness of his own flesh and color. So he looked the same. And in his own clothes. And he spoke, saying, do not fear. I am the same who was with you and was hanged and died, whose flesh was devoured by lions. Huh? I am Zarathustra. Stop that, man. Come on. And so we got a modern example of what we read with Zarathustra, what we read with Chiney. You dig? When you get into the story of Brahma and his wife, same thing. We got a modern example that never referenced the wasp. He never read a wasp. You see? That's why wasp is the primary source. The very things that Simeon Toko was credited with doing, it was already written down 37 years before he was born, 70 years before he even did it. You see why now it's a primary? It's a primary. Not only is it written down before he was born, and double before he got on his mission, you dig? The very prophets of old that's written about in her was doing what they said Simeon Toko was doing. That just put more credence on the wasp. Do not marvel that I have the semblance or the likeness of a physical body, a corporeal body, for its substance is held together by the power of my spirit. Do y'all hear this? Do not marvel. Do not marvel that I have the likeness or the semblance of a physical corporeal body. For it, that body you looking at, for its substance is held together by the power of my spirit. Spirit over the flesh, huh? Look what he say. You call it a miracle, right? Look what he say. As he rematerializes. Nor is this a miracle. He said this ain't even no miracle. Nor is this a miracle, for the spirits of all the living each hold in the same way its own corporeal body. This ain't no miracle, man. You just don't know nothing about it. For the spirits of all the living each hold in the same way its own corporeal body. As iron attracts iron, the spirit learns to attract from the earth a corporeal body of his like and measure. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. Hey, look at this. Come on, man. Come on, man. And someone present inquired, where are the two thieves to which Zarathustra said, the steam rises from boiling water without shape or form, so are their souls dissolved. For this reason I was sent into the world by the Father, that him who would become controller of his own spirit for an everlasting life, learn the Almighty or the Creator's law. Seeking to grow in spirit. Seeking to grow in spirit. Instead of living for the things of this world. You want to be one of them hard to kill prophets or prophetess, you gotta detach. You attach. I be making my short leggings get off the electronics. You do attach to it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So while I'm teaching them, I'm teaching myself. Like, it's certain things that I'm attached to. You know what I mean? Dealing with this flesh, these earthly desires and all that. Whatever it may be. We all got some type of vice that we fight, that we must eventually put away if we want to get to the higher heavens. We eventually got to put away the weed smoking and the cigarette smoking and the Don Julio drinking and the loin warfare. Yeah. The loin warfare feel marvelous, but hey, it's earthly. It's earthly. These brothers put away all that. They wasn't tripping off nothing, like man, but spirit. And if you want to know it, learn to where your spirit got control over your flesh. You got to learn the Creator's law and seek to grow in spirit instead of living for the things of this world. And the Creator's law is not with your Torah portions you reading about every Saturday. That ain't what that's talking about. You understand? Love, life, and liberty, freedom to all without the sacrifice or murder of any. Love, life, and freedom to all without the bloodshed, murder, or sacrifice of any. Good night, boy. Look at this. Look at this. He's playing with y'all. Look at it. Behold, in attendance here are lords of the hosts of heaven, who are sons and daughters of the Most High Creator. They will now gather together and reclothe them and show you what they are like. Presently, the two Drujas, the thieves, who were hanged with Zarathustra, stood before the people in Sargis. That's what Sargis is. It's the ability to rematerialize and look as if you're mortals. Angels do it all the time in the Bible. Behold, I saw a man. Jacob was wrestling a man who he later called God, who Hosea called who? An angel. All right? Stood before the people in Sargis, and they raved, cursed, and moaned. They were blind and dumb as to where they were. And Asha asked them who they were and what they wanted, but they only cursed them and added that they were to be hanged. Asha said, behold, you are already dead. They ain't even know. You are already dead, and your spirit's risen from the earth, to which they replied by curses against the king. And now the lords of heaven reclothe the spirit of the king. And now the lords of heaven reclothe the spirit of the king. But he also did not know that he was dead. What about that? And he also cursed, at which the spirits of the thieves attacked him with evil intent. And all the people saw these things. But the lords of heaven took away the Sarges, and mortals could no longer see the drudges. The thing is, Zarathustra said, as they were angered and spiritually dumb while in their earthly lives. Listen up. As they were angered and spiritually dumb while in their earthly lives, so do they even now cling to the earth. For which reason you shall sing anthems and pray for them 3 mornings at sunrise, and 3 high noons, and 3 evenings at sunset. Do this also for all your kindred who died, or who are slain from this time forward forever. You want to raise the spirit up of your loved ones who have recently passed, who are very angry and spiritually unaware while in the earthly plane. That's what Zarathustra was telling you. From the other side, looking like a mortal. Sing anthems and pray for them 3 mornings at sunrise, 3 high noons, and 3 evenings at sunset. Do this also for all your kindred who died, or who are slain, killed from this time forward forever. And you shall utter only words of love for the dead. Look at that. See, that's another thing. You got people today cursing the dead. You know what I mean? Rappers going to the graveyards of they dead ops and, acting like Julio Folio. Or any of these other rappers that's dissing the dead. Look what it says about the dead, man. Look, the dead ain't nothing to play with. You dig? The dead ain't nothing to play with. SBG Duck, King Von, O Block Louie. The dead ain't nothing to play with. You should utter only words of love for the dead. For whoever utters curses for the dead brings demons upon himself. What is we talking about here? Why you think? I'm talking about it was so quick. Man, when the brother FBG Duck got aired out in Chicago, man, that hit came back quick on King Von 2 months later. Down in Atlanta, that deal came back so quick on Von. I was like, dang. That retaliation came back quick. You gotta stop playing, man. The dead ain't nothing to play with. Stop all that dissing the dead, and the dead ops, and trying to go to their graves and piss on the grave, and you better stop playing. You better stop playing. You know what I mean? Real spill. There ain't nobody playing no game. Look, the whole rap, the whole rap scene is a death culture, right? And especially with social media, you can just take the camera, go to the grave site, and dish your dead enemy. But look what you doing. You see? Why you think Owaspi is a guidebook to the spirit life? It's letting you know what you can practically see. We watched every last one of these niggas this stay dead enemies, and every last one of them died. Every last one of them died. 50 Cent better be careful. Stop dissing the dead. Because look what you're doing. And you should utter only words of love for the dead. For whoever utters curses for the dead brings true jobs, demons upon himself. And your love and forgiveness, you raise them out of the torments of hell. Y'all heard that? A lot of our people gonna leave her, you know what I mean? Spiritually dumb, angry. Your job is still to bring the light and show love to raise them up out of that. It's your job. And that's why I'm telling y'all, they all about to be tapping in and hollering at us. All your entertainers, all your little gurus, all your spiritual influences, you gotta tap in with us. Because ain't nobody giving you the system and order, the spirit world. Who you talking about? Who you talking about? Nobody. But CGG, that's just the truth. Now you know not to diss the dead. Now you know how to raise them up out of those torments of hell. Even your loved ones. Man, we got work to do. We got work to do, man. And death does not relieve you of your responsibility. I'm going to read that again, and you should utter only words of love for the dead. For whoever utters curses for the dead brings demons or drudges upon himself. And your love and forgiveness, you raise them out of the torments of hell. And because you raise up others, so does Creator raise up your own souls. Ain't that what you want? I want Creator to raise me up. Well, guess what I need to do? Even in death of someone, or even in my death, still show love. Still show forgiveness. Let it go. A lot of this stuff ain't even, man, let that go. Let that go. And because you raise up others, dig that you living on earth and you raising up a spirit that already lived and passed through death. Did Paul say I have to pray for the dead? Damn, that guy spells part. Yeah, old Saul of Tarsus is something different now. You know, there's a lot of cats ain't even got past him. It's like, bro, this is. Anyway, look at this word. Look at this word. You learning. That's the whole deal, man. Learning about. Look, even if you don't. I used to hear C-Law say this all the time. I used to hear him say, you ain't even got to believe, you know what I mean, what we saying, but at least you a word now. See, you can't unring the bell. Once you hear what we saying, even if you say, man, that's hogwash, we ain't tripping off that. You can't escape from hearing it. You know now, boy, I better not diss the dead. Man, if I diss the dead, guess what? I utter curses for the dead. I bring demons upon myself. I bring drudges, dark forces upon myself for cursing the dead. And we witness it. We witness it. After all these rappers diss they dead ops, what do we see? All of them die. All of them died. And that's why with the recent passing of Irv Gotti, 50, you better shut your mouth, boy. Shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Before your empire come crumbling down. Shut up. Stop dissing the dead. Look at this. Then someone asked, how long the spirit lingered about? Whichever Zarathustra said, some for 3 days, some for a year, some for 100 years, some for 1,000 years. Good night. Until they have wisdom and strength to get away. You gotta have wisdom and strength to get away from the earth. I'm only be around for 3 days, some for a year, some for 100 years. Good night, man. 100 years? Some for 1,000 years. Stuck right here. Good night. But after 3 days, you should no longer desire the spirit of the dead to remain with you. See, so now you know what's up with the 3-day thing. We've been hearing a lot about 3 days, right? But after 3 days, you should no longer desire the spirit of the dead to remain with you. Rather, you shall say to the Creator, deal with him and with us in your own way, O Father. We are content. It is better for the spirits that you do not call them back from the higher heavens down to the earth. It is better for you that you remember them high up in paradise. But these thoughts will enable you to rise after you are dead. Now you know. You know what I mean? We'll mourn and grieve so much. You mess around and bind the spirit of your loved one. Look, stop all that. Stop all that. Look. I ain't trying to be bound here for no 1,000 years. You understand? I ain't gonna be bound here for no 100 years, not even a year. I'm trying to get them out of here. 3 days max. You dig? Man, don't be around here trying to keep me bound. It is better for the spirits that you do not call them back from the higher heaven down to the earth. It's better for them. Better for your recently departed loved one. It is better for you that you remember them high up in paradise. But these thoughts will enable you to rise after you are dead. Man, we learned today. Realities of the spirit world. Can we read or watch piece of spiritual guidebook? Right? It ain't nothing but game. Like, look, and again, you ain't gotta believe in your word now. Like, shit, I better not be dissing the dead. Dang, I can't be holding on no longer than 3 days because that mess around and bind my loved one. They can't rise because I'm over here calling them back. Nah, man, fly high, baby. You know what I mean? Fly high. My cousin Mimi Cassandra just died last week. Fly high, baby. You know what I mean? We ain't finna keep you bound. Fly high. You know what I mean? You'll be forever remembered. Love you forever and a day, girl. You already know. Remember that all light answers everything in heaven. Remember that all light answers everything in heaven and earth after its own manner. If you kill, you are answered in torment sooner or later. Yes, a lot of us have, murderers and gangbangers in our family. Come on now. A lot of us have brothers and sisters that's been in the military and then been around here spilling blood all over this earth. A lot of us have people in our families that used to work at certain spots that manufacture these weapons of death. If you kill, you are answered in torment sooner or later. It all answers right back, man. It boomerangs. There ain't nobody that killed and ain't got an answer for that. If you utter falsehood, you are answered in falsehood. That's true, man. Running around here lying. You run around here lying, you're going to be lied to. You dig? Straight up. Straight up. If you curse, you will be cursed in return. If you hate, ISUPK, I heard getting interviewed by these conservative white channels. They like, absolutely, the white man is the devil. I absolutely abhor and hate the white man. If you hate, you will be hated. If you seclude yourselves, you will be excluded. If you keep evil company in this world, If you keep evil company in this world, you will be bound in evil company in heaven. Come on, man. Come on. You dig? If you seek to become a leader of men, remember that they whom you rule over will be your burden in heaven. You ain't trying to lead nobody. I can only imagine, boy, the Nathaniel Rays at IUIC, he got the largest Israelite camp in the world. If you seek to become a leader of men, remember that they whom you rule over will be your burden in heaven. Yeah, boy, you got to lead all them to the Creator. After leading them away from the Creator this whole time, you got to lead them to the Creator. All those thousands of men that you got marching through the streets, every last one of them you're responsible. Good night. Can you imagine a king or a dictator? The whore queen of England, when she was, come on, bro. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. Do you understand the ramifications of leading people and not only just leading them the wrong way? Good night. Those who you rule over will be your burden in heaven. If you are the spirit word, if you do not teach, you should not be taught. If you do not lift others up, none will lift you up. For in all things, the same rule applies in heaven as on earth. It is a continuation in spirit of that which is practiced in the flesh. If y'all getting some understanding today, man, y'all drop a 4,000 in the chat, man. You dig? All praises, glory, and great honor to the Creator, the God Maker, the maker of suns, moons, and stars. This is your brother Malachi Maccabee. That's it. Nothing but your regular. Nothing but your regular. Drop a 4,000 in the chat, man. We about to get up out of here in a second. Feel me? So much spiritual game, though. It's like, dang, I don't even know how to catch this, man. What is you mad about? What is you complaining and foaming at the mouth and, oh, that's so evil and demonic? What you done read this? What we just said that's demonic? You know what I mean? What we just said. I'm glad y'all got some understanding in this deal, though. It's all good. Yeah, I see. Shout out to everybody in the chat. All praises to the great spirit, the creator, the God maker, the maker of suns, moons, and stars. Ever present, whose magnitude is incomprehensible, whose presence is everywhere. Everywhere. Thought everybody got some understanding today. Who is Simeon Toko? The fear of a black Messiah. And the power of spirit over the flesh. We dove deep today. We got some understanding concerning the matter. And there's a contemporary that lived in this earth that was contemporary with your grandparents. That brother that Simeon Toko that actually his own record doing what we just read about Zarathustra 7,000, 9,000 years ago, and what we read about the brother named Chine 3,400 years ago. Doing the same exact thing. You dig? But he was born 37 years after this was written. 37 years, and then start doing the work that we read about in here to 70 years after it was written. Come on, bro. That means this is a primary for the information that's in it. And the prophets of old was doing exactly what the witnesses to Simeon Toko said he was doing. I'm glad y'all got some understanding today. I'm about to get up out of here. I got a whole bunch of business I got to handle and get done. And it truly ain't enough hours in the day. You know what I mean? But I'm feet to the streets. Metatarsals, tarsals, and phalanges. You understand? I ain't write the book. I only read what was in it. Shout out to Sugar Free to P, man. You dig? Everybody got some understanding. That's good. All right, we're going to let some music ride on out. And, I'm your brother, man. Y'all keep going though. Yeah, again, CGG's in the best position, right? All the gods are falling. Whether you talking about the street gangs, whether you talking about these religious devotees, the conscious community, they all done fail, y'all. It's a wrap. Big, it's a wrap. And salute, big city, yeah, man. Yeah, we brothers, man. You know, and then every time we do this, we get like further understanding of what that spirit was like. You understand? So with that being said, I'm your brother, and I'm about to slide on up out of here. You feel me? Let some music play for a little taste. And we're gonna keep it moving, man. The creative gang that don't bang.
And yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feel it when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, just that job theft, that chow mein, that pepper bull, that towel main, since sunset in the arc of Wayne, my brain moving like Tao saying, so as above, it's so below, that up and that down thing, this flow is atmospheric, I call that a ground game, see water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning, so how your God make a sun without vortexing and current, see the pattern is panic, I'm reaching out for my people, oh watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether, and when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing political. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rapper like just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than sports car. Got more work than a door star. In the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 living in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahuin is now a Angui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you make it a lot. Well, I'm an Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is so yeah. Yeah, put that super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah.